Okay, hi everyone. Okay, so we got a few people right now. We're gonna add a few more as these things go on. I notice like people don't immediately join, so we're gonna be getting a lot more people as this thing goes on. Okay, so one thing I really want to tell you guys is that this meeting isn't going to be a normal workshop that you guys are mostly familiar with. I don't really like to host a bunch of formal workshops. I really encourage other people speaking. So if any of you guys actually want to put your own opinion into what I'm teaching, or just throw in whatever we have to say in between, even for all the shy people that are in this meeting right now in this workshop, can just type in the chat or just give me an emoji like a thumbs up in between, and I'll be happy. But though I really do encourage like speaking out loud into one of these meetings, it really gets my attention, and then also hosting your doubts is like a really good thing. Okay, so are we ready to go ahead? Okay, works. We got a bunch of people. Works. Thank you, people. I really like that. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit about myself, though. A lot of people don't actually know me. Most of you guys just straight up know Jagrit. A lot of you guys don't know that it's also me, who is the co-founder of Zoop. You don't guys know, don't know me much because my collaboration with FarAway isn't to its most extent. Because this event, I am mainly at the head top hosting most of these events. So FarAway, I'm managing the things from the deeper inside. So I don't have much interaction with you guys that much. So that's why I wanted to host one of these workshops. So in this workshop, we're gonna do a bunch of things actually. So I got this little list of all the things that we're gonna discuss today. I'm just gonna leave it here just to make sure that we're gonna get through everything. Can you guys see my screen? Hold up, let me present. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay, so these were all the things that I actually listed that we're actually gonna learn in this. All of these are mostly basics, though I'm assuming that you guys don't know much about 3D modeling itself. I'm going to be teaching this workshop like basically how you guys don't really know much about 3D modeling. I'm assuming that all of you guys are just straight away beginners. So, we got all of these different topics. We got all these different topics that we're going to be discussing today. We got CAD and 3D modeling fundamentals. Like, I'm going to give you the absolute crux. A lot of you guys don't actually understand. I would say, I would be extremely surprised if any of you understand what this actually means. Because CAD, I don't even know the full form of CAD. I could not care less. Though this thing is actually really important. The fundamentals of 3D modeling and CAD is very hard to understand because it's not really much of like a technical thing. It definitely is a technical thing, but though to understand it and how it actually works, there are a few things that you need to understand. There's this one quote which I think really explains this really well. Not even 3D modeling, but straight away 3D printing, because this is what this workshop is mainly about. Even though it's about 3D modeling and like, maybe graphic designing a little bit, it is also going to be about mainly 3D printing and how to use these models to print your own things. So there's this one insane quote, which is also Scott Eugen's favorite quote. You guys might know him if you're here attending this workshop. There was this one quote by Steve Jobs, which I really like. It was, it basically went, what was it? Yeah, that everything around you, there's this one simple fact that you have to realize that mostly everything around you that you see, that you can touch, that you can feel, is made by people who are no smarter than you are. They're basically just normal people like you and I, and yet everything that you see around you, like just look around you for a bit, everything that you see from your bed sheet to a desk to absolutely anything that you see around you are filled with things that people made. You're also a person. And once you learn this one core fundamental thing, that all these things are made by people who are no smarter than you can mold it. You can mold it into something, you can change the world around you, you can mold it into things like we spend our money into a lot of things which we really shouldn't, as in like some designs, some things, as in like, let's say a keychain. You interact with the keychain almost every single day. You interact with your keys every day. Though we're spoon fed these really arbitrary, shitty ass designs, which you really should not be spending your money around. Creativity in this world is absolutely important. And that is why I think 3D modeling is like such a core thing that you guys need to understand. Now, one thing is that's basically the fundamentals of 3D modeling for me, at least, because you guys need to understand that it's not just a thing that you do to get jobs. It's a thing that you do to make the world around you creative, to mold the world around you. Now, that's basically the fundamentals of 3D modeling. Another thing that I want to talk to you about, before I start going to all the insane arts of 3D modeling and designing, I basically got to let you know that even though this workshop is about 3D modeling and designing, it focuses a lot more on 3D printing. And as it focuses a lot more on 3D printing, we even got like a live demo session with the Bambu Labs A1, where I'll literally show you how advanced this technology has become. Did you guys know that 3D printing has been there since the 90s? Like, it's absolutely insane what these rich people can do, restricting technology from normal people just because they don't have the money to use it. 3D modeling has been around when the TVs weren't even like flat ones. It's insane. 3D modeling has been there for such a long time, but it's been only excluded to the rich. But now, as due to good organization and open source communities like Bambu Labs, we actually get to use 3D modeling and actually get to like get a printer off the internet that we can just buy like a 3D printer these days don't even cost as much as like a good pair of shoes. The A1 Bamboo Lab that I have, it cost around 30,000 rupees. And if you actually get like a decent good deal from the internet, I'm pretty sure you can get one like way cheaper. There's a bunch of other things which I'll let you know, which I'll let you guys know about, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are gonna go from this workshop and then realize that you guys can also make a bunch of things. You guys are gonna come up with your own projects. You guys are gonna come up with your own things. And when you do that, I'll give you a few ideas how to get money, because I'm assuming most of you guys could I just get like an age of how old you guys are? Just in the chat or maybe out loud. I don't really mind. Just go ahead. How old are you guys? 20. 2019. Okay, so basically 15. Oh my God. Okay, amazing. So we have a pretty diverse group here, but most of them I would say are really young people. Now, this is what I actually love about young people. We are so fucking creative. I swear to God, Gen Z. The thing is, the thing is absolutely in this that we're going to be learning about 3D modeling, 3D designing, and all these things. The one thing about you is when you go from these workshops, you guys are going to learn all these different things that I'm going to teach you. The main thing that you guys are going to need is funding. A lot of you guys don't have funding. You guys don't have money. How are you going to make your own things? I was lucky that I had around 30,000 rupees that I've been desperately lying around with that I just spent on my 3D modeling. I've been saving that shit up for a while. So I just spent it on a 3D printer. The thing is that you guys don't have that much money to like just experiment with. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do to get that funding. You can try emailing Bambu Labs. There are a bunch of open source communities out there which will help you. You can even do things like you can do a bunch of things like, how can we say this? You can just email random people and they'll give you the money for it. You guys don't understand that how simple these things actually are. You can just email a few rich people and be like, I want to create this, good for the environment, it's good for the world. There's a bunch of different things. Let's say, how can we say this? There's a bunch of these different communities where you can actually, Bamboo Labs form page, which is absolutely insane. You can fill out your own form there and then you can actually get complete funding for your projects. It's absolutely insane. I'm currently applying for a project which I'm working on, which is the world's cheapest phototelegraphy drone. I'm actually making that with my printer right now. I'll show you guys the entire design, how the workflow works, all the different software that I use to actually make that thing turn into life. And then after I show you that, I'll tell you guys how to apply for these different things to get funding. So I'm currently waiting on the $200 funding right now, plus a Bambu Lab A1 mini printer to get all the things that I want to build. Okay, absolutely. That's all I had to say for now. Let's get into the actual things I'm going to start teaching you guys. Okay, so I think we already understood a bit of the fundamentals. I think all you guys already know what 3D modeling is, right? Like the absolute fundamentals of what 3D modeling is. I don't think I need to get that into detail that you guys don't really know what 3D modeling, 3D printing is. You guys know? Can you guys just give me like a thumbs up or a yes maybe in the chat? Okay. Okay. How many of you guys, don't be shy with this. Just let me know how many of you guys don't know what these things are. Trust me, I have this one friend, I'm not gonna name her. She had no idea what 3D printing even was. When I got it, I swear to God, she freaked out. She was like, you can print stuff? Crazy. How many of you guys don't know what 3D printing or 3D modeling is? Okay, okay, sure, absolutely works. So let me explain you a little bit of what 3D modeling and 3D printing is, just for a few people out there. Even the people who actually know what these things are can just get a quick overview, a little lap about around it. So 3D modeling, what's 3D modeling? I'm gonna explain you guys a little bit by showing you a few examples. Now, this is a software that I really like to use. I'm going to open this one project. This is the first project I ever made in my entire life, which was with 3D modeling. So I really want to show you these things. Uh, these things are absolutely like really easy. You can do this on your laptop. You do need like a pretty decent laptop to run Fusion though, because these things take up a lot of RAM. Like I have a Ryzen 7, a GeForce RTX 4090 in my laptop, and this thing still struggles to load all these things. It's absolutely insane. Now, I'm going to show you guys a little bit what 3D modeling actually is. So, I'm pretty sure you guys know about different dimensions. So let's say 2D. That's like basically you writing on like a pen, you taking a pen and paper and just writing on a 2D space. So three dimension is basically that. So let's say a cuboid, a box that you want to make. It basically has three sides. The length, breadth, and then its height. So anything to model these different objects, you actually have to model them. Let me show you guys a little bit about these things. Okay, so let's say you want to design a lamp. How are you going to go for designing a lamp? Now, you can't really draw a lamp and then be like, okay, I want to make this. People who actually design these lamps, design these things to actually manufacture them in vast these things, have to model them, their exact dimensions and absolutely everything. So if you guys see this, this is a 3D model right here for all the people who don't know what a 3D model is. This is basically a lamp. The first 3D model I ever made in my entire life is basically this. So this is basically a lamp. You can design them. You can see this is a cylinder right here and then a base at the bottom. It's really simple to make these 3D models. I explain you how to make these things as well. So this is basically a 3D model and what these things actually are. Then what 3D printing is, that's a little for people who don't know what 3D printing is, it's actually a little bit difficult to understand because the fact that you can mold something, that you can make things that you actually see in front of you like so easily, it's absolutely insane. Now, I have the Bambu Labs A1. So you can see from this software, I'm currently doing something. You could say I'm also trying to make another startup regarding this like 3D printing thing just because I have the A1. I won't tell you guys much about the business that I'm working on because it is still in production a little bit, but I'll explain it to you guys later when it's actually out there and the site's published. Though 3D printing is basically when you have a device, it's basically an entire big ass machine which has a nozzle at the top, and that nozzle can basically extrude filament, which is basically plastic. I'm also going to tell you guys about different types of these plastics. Like there's ABS, there's PLA, there's polycarbonate, there's even carbon fiber. It's absolutely insane what you can print. So all these different things that you can actually print with. I'm going to show you guys a few examples of these different filaments. I really want you guys to actually see these things. I'm going to show you all the 3D printers that actually are there. Okay, you guys can see my screen, right? Let me know. Okay, yeah, works. Okay, so what 3D printing actually is? So 3D printing is basically when you have one of these machines, these big ass machines are called 3D printers. You can buy these things, you can literally buy them and then put them in your house. Dude, I live in a hostel and I swear to God, I took my 3D printer to my dorm room. It's literally sitting right next to me. So yeah, these things are insanely portable. Now, these things did not used to be that crazy. Now, these things have become insane in the past few years. These things, the technology around these things have evolved so much that like perfect print, perfect first layers in your like just straight away out of the box. It's absolutely insane. So basically, the main three parts about a 3D printer I'll show you is basically that is the build plate, basically where you print on. There's a metal plate on top of that. That metal plate is where your builds actually stick. And this is the nozzle. The nozzle is where the molten plastic actually comes off of. And then do you see this little thing that says AMS on top? That thing is where you attach the filament. The filament is basically ABS, PLA, different types of filaments that you can buy and then put into these machines. So let's say this is a type of filament. What is this basically? It is, let's say, a piece of plastic rolled around in coils. And these coils are actually much more complicated than you actually think they are. Because the quality of the product is absolutely, it matters a lot. The accuracy of the diameter of these little coils matter a lot. Like a 0.02 millimeter difference can like completely fuck up your entire print. It's insane. Now, these things are insanely calibrated. A bunch of brands work on these, but I would say if you're into 3D printing, then as a beginner, if you want like, let's say I'll show you the different types of the ones that Bambu Labs give them. I would really say buy Bambu Labs filaments because they are insanely popular and they're just so standardized at this point. Filament. Okay, this is Bambu Labs filament. Now, filament comes in many varieties. You can buy different qualities of filaments. You can buy different types of filaments, as in like, let's say different widths of filaments as well. The thing is that different types of filaments would give you different properties in what you actually print. So let's say PLA. What is PLA going to give you? PLA is basically going to give you like, it's basically plastic. PLA is straight up plastic. There's no, like, not really much about it. It's straight away plastic. The thing about other filaments, I'll show you right here. Look at all of these different filaments. This is like insane filament right here. This is PLA filled with carbon fiber. So carbon fiber, you can't really print carbon fiber because it's not really a plastic. You can't melt it on the nozzle. The nozzle can go up to around 300 degrees Celsius, which is really hot. Don't get your hand close to it. I've burned myself around 3-4 times at least. These things get really hot, and to actually melt these different types of plastics, what they do is they take PLA, which is the most basic form of plastic I can do. Most people don't know, but PLA is actually biodegradable. It's not completely though, because if you just straight away put it in the soil, it's not going to degrade over time. You do need a machine for it to degrade, though it is biodegradable and recyclable. The thing with this is that different types of filaments, a lot of them are not like carbon fiber. They basically take PLA and then they put carbon fiber shreds inside of it. So they shred carbon fiber into very, 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 very thin little slivets, and then they put them inside of PLA, and then it gives it that black texture, and then all the different properties of carbon fiber. Like, let's say, what are some properties of carbon fiber? Carbon fiber is really resistant to heat. It's insanely strong. So if you put carbon fiber inside of PLA, it's gonna be really strong and really, how do we say this, heat resistant. So not just PLA, there's a bunch of different things you can print with, like this is PLA. Oh, this PLA. You can see how common PLA is. Mostly everybody uses PLA. I swear to God. Yeah, this is very interesting. This is actually one of the few filaments that I really want to buy right now. I'll show you. I'll give you a demonstration how to actually these things arrive at your house, because the chemistry in these things are crazy. So the thing with this filament is that this is TPU. TPU is basically is flexible. Now, you might not think that you can print everything that you can see around you. 3D modeling and 3D printing just basically goes to just printing stuff that you would need, as in, like, let's say gearboxes. But that's completely wrong. The thing that people don't exactly understand is that you can print anything that you can possibly see. Okay, give me a few examples of you guys, because a lot of you guys are new to 3D printing. Most of you guys are not even going to do 3D printing. There's a bunch of other sources that you can actually go to. Like there's 3Ding. In India, I would say that is one of the best ones. It's called 3Ding. You can go to the sites and then you just basically upload an STL file of your 3D model, and then you basically get out a 3D printed thing that you can just get to your house. It's really simple. So one of the things is that people don't understand that you can print absolutely anything. Anything that you can see around you, anything that you can touch, you can print. It's insane. Give me a few examples of things that you think that you might not be able to print. Can you guys give me, like, in the chat, or just say them out loud? What are some things that you guys think that you won't be able to print? It's very simple. Just absolutely anything. Give me anything. I'll work with it. What are a few examples of things that you might not be able to 3D print? Anyone? People write it in the chat. People, give me a few examples. Come on. What are a few things that you guys cannot 3D print? It's gonna be really simple. You don't have to Google this out. You don't have to, like, search or, like, even think much about it. Just straight away tell me what are a few things that you can see around you which you can't 3D print. Damn. I think you guys must understand 3D printing a lot then, because when first I got a 3D printer, I was like, dude, what am I gonna do with this? I already been researching for a while, so I already know you could 3D print mostly absolutely anything. But the thing is, with 3D printing, you can 3D print anything that you can see around you, anything you can touch, anything you can feel, you can 3D print. It's absolutely insane. So let's say you want to print coasters, you can print a coaster. You want to print shoes, you can literally print shoes. It's that simple. You want to print a rocket that goes into space? Go ahead. You want to make the world's cheapest phototelemetry drone? Go ahead, make it. It's that simple. Phones maybe. See, the things about phone is, let me show you actually. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't show you. I didn't show you guys this. Hold up. There is this one community that Bambu Lab has. It's called Maker's World. A few of you guys actually might know, who are into, like, actually 3D modeling, might know about this. Maker's World is basically Bambu Lab's community where you can absolutely find a lot of free designs. Anything you see here, you can print straight away. Just take this thing, put it into, let's say you want to print this jewelry right here. You can just open Bambu Lab Studio, which is Bambu Labs. Basically, if you're using a Bambu Labs product, then you have to use a studio to print things. So you can use Bambu Labs Studio, basically upload it into here, and then as soon as it gets uploaded in there, you can just print it. It's that simple. Just have to, at the click of two buttons, you can print anything that you can imagine. Now, most people buy a 3D printer for two things, but I would say you should buy it for the other one. See, the thing is, there are a bunch of free designs out there in the world that you can just straight away take, and then you can literally print. Look at these, dude. You can print shoes. I mean, of course, it's gonna take like 56 hours, but yeah, you can print shoes. It's absolutely insane what you can print, and especially with a 3D printer like Bambu Labs. If anyone's gonna actually get away from this and like might think of buying a 3D printer in the future, I would say buy a Bambu Lab. Even though Bambu Labs printer is kind of expensive, I would like really recommend buying a Bambu Labs printer just because the things you can do with it. A lot of you guys don't understand the difference between the cheap 3D printers out there and then the actual expensive 3D printers. Look at the creativity that people have. You can 3D print like a straightaway design, a 2D design, put it on your shirt, and then just iron it, and then you get this. You can make your own shirts, and it's absolutely insane what you can do with these things. So there are two things. One of you guys said phone. A phone is a little bit more complicated just because the amount of components it has. Though I would say if you leave out all the components like the CPU, the RAM, you can pretty much print the case. Like let's say a phone case. You can print a phone case. They're all available right here. And these phone cases are absolutely insane. These are really good phone cases. They're not even like the shitty ones that you might get. These are like proper quality ones that you buy off like Apple or something. The one of the things that you can print with this. And then another of you guys said print machines, but obviously not working ones. That's interesting. You can actually print machines which are working. Now, let me give you a few examples. Of course, machines that take up electricity, you're gonna need to put like a few wires and then a few motors inside of it, sure. But there are a lot of machines that you can actually print, which you don't need any parts for. You can just straight away print. So the thing is, you can even print, let's say, fabric. You guys don't know this, but you can actually print fabric. Now, I'm just showing you guys these different things just to like show you what a 3D printer can actually do. A 3D printer doesn't just turn like, let's say, a gear or like, let's say, a phone case that you have in your mind. Then you design it, then you put it on your 3D printer, and boom, you have a phone case. A 3D printer with a little bit of creativity can do a lot of things. You can literally print a jacket. You're looking at this, it's insane. You can print anything, anything that you can possibly imagine, and even machine as in like gearboxes. Those are technically machines. So yeah, you can even print working machines with this. It's crazy. Another thing is about Bambu Labs community. Bambu Labs community basically has a bunch of free designs out here. Anything that you can possibly imagine. Like let's say you have a random phone case or you have a random phone. Like some things that are not even that popular. Like how can I say this? Let's say you have a remote of a random TV. Let's say it's a Samsung TV, and you want to find the exact remote case for it. And you don't want to buy it because off the internet, those things go for around 200, 300 rupees. You, of course, don't want to buy it off there because that's expensive and a waste of time. So, in plus delivery as well, it's crazy. So, the thing you can actually do, you can search up the exact serial number of the product that you have over here. After you search that serial number, if it's not on Bambu Lab, it's absolutely fine. You can search it up in the internet, and I promise you, you will find that exact product. You will find that exact product's dimensions, the width, even if it doesn't exist in the world, which is extremely unlikely, by the way. The things that you see around you, they were basically 3D models. So you will guarantee probably find a few cases, a few things around it everywhere on the internet. And just because these companies are kind of popular, like let's say Samsung, mostly all of their products have a bunch of accessories for them, which are going to be available for you to print on Maker's World. If they're not on Maker's, just go on the internet, search up the serial number of whatever product you have, and then followed by let's say 3D model or like more 3D model accessories next to it, and then you'll find a bunch of different things that you can print for it. Let's say if you want a case, instead of going out there and then buying one for like 400, 500 rupees off the internet or off Amazon, you can instead just search up the model and print it for, yourself for like what, 15 rupees? That's insane. Now, what else do we have on our list? Okay, I think you guys have understood the fundamentals by now. The designing part from scratch. This is going to be a little bit difficult for me to explain because even though I know how to design things from scratch, it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to explain you guys because the amount of time we have. We have around, how much we have? 1.5 hours. I think we can do that. Maybe. Okay, we'll do the softwares, different types of 3D printing filaments. Mm, I think I've already explained to you different types of 3D printed filaments. Like there's TPU, which is flexible. So let's say you want to print something flexible like shoes. you're gonna need TPU because it's flexible. So you can print things which are flexible, you can print things which are transparent, you can print things in any color possibly you can imagine. And then what else can you print with? Yeah, you can print with things which are really brittle, like PLA. You can print with things, let's say, like carbon fiber reinforced nylon PLA, which is extremely durable. You can print rockets out of it. You can actually send them to space. If you guys have seen these videos on YouTube, people actually 3D print rockets. See that? You can actually just straight away 3D print a rocket and then you can set it into space. It's insane. Now, these things are a little bit more complicated. The things that you see here, like where Tashim did a video on this. You can actually 3D printing has gotten so insanely modernized these days that you can actually 3D print with metal. Though it's not yet available to us simpleton people who don't really have like tens of 20 millions of dollars to spend just on straight away these huge 3D printing machines. You can print with 3D print. You can print with metal. Though you are gonna need like a lot of money to do that. Plus, I'm pretty sure it's restricted to all those big ass organizations. So, 3D printing in plastic and carbon fiber reinforced. I would say you could 3D print. Let's say, where's that one video? Yeah, this. You can 3D print, let's say, a rocket like this. Put a jet propellant behind it, and then boom, you can literally send your own thing to space. This is completely legal, by the way. You don't even need that many permissions. Though I would say if you're doing this, do it in a field just to make sure you and no one gets hurt. Yeah. So that's about 3D filaments. You can print things which are durable. You can print things which are heat resistant. You can print things which are transparent. You can print things which are what do we say? Which are flexible. There are a bunch of filaments, and all these filaments are relatively affordable. I would say PLA is the most affordable one that you can possibly buy. Though this is Bambu Lab's official page, so all the filaments here are going to be like really, really expensive because they're like Bambu Lab's original filament, which like Bambu Lab revolutionized the 3D printing. So this is going to be very expensive. You can see ABS is for 2.2K. Normal PLA, you can just find it for 1000, and I swear to God, these people would advertise it for way more if they had the ability to, because a lot of people in the other markets are selling this for way less. There's PLA Tough Plus, which is around 2000. Basically, a stronger version of PLA. You're gonna find a bunch of things like, let's say, different varieties of PLA. People mix different things into filaments. You guys need to understand this. Let's say there is PLA. It's the most basic one, the easiest one to print. The thing is that what people do, they actually take this filament and then they put random things inside of it. Not exactly random, they actually calculate this. Though the things that they put inside of it, like carbon fiber, they even put a little bit of TPU. I've seen people put wood shreddings inside of these filaments to give a woody texture. Let's say rosewood. Uh, you can take rosewood because the smell is so nice. People take really, really fine shreddings. I mind you, these shreddings have to be really fine because the nozzle is kind of sensitive. So anything that you put through that nozzle would basically ruin your nozzle. I've seen people put metal inside of 3D filament to make it magnetic. I've put I've seen people put copper bites into it, like shreddings of copper, which are really, really fine, and they put that inside of 3D filament, like PLA, and then when they do that, the filament actually becomes conductive. So you can actually print literally machines. You can print circuit boards if you wanted to. So you can basically take, let's say, depending on the printer that you have, because a lot of them do have two different nozzles. I have the A1. I'm gonna show it to you like right now. Let me join the meeting with my phone and then I'll show you what the A1 can actually do. I think that's all for the filaments though. We did the filaments, we did the fundamentals. Preparing models for printing, the live A1 demonstrations. We're gonna do these two at the same time. Real world applications of 3D designing and manufacturing. Hmm. How many of you guys know Scott Ujan? Give me a thumbs up if you guys know who Scott U. I'm pretty sure none of you guys know who Scott Ujan is. Any of you guys know who this guy is? He's insanely popular, by the way. Really popular guy in 3D printing. Any of you guys know him? Okay, none of you guys know him. That's crazy. Okay, so anybody who has the slightest of interest in 3D modeling, 3D printing would know this guy because this guy is literally known for printing insane stuff. He once started a business. Do you know the iPhone dock? Let me show you. Yeah, do you see this? This was an idea by Scott Jan, and there was another person who made it with him. So this guy basically, yeah, Overwork. He designed this with Overwork, and the thing with this is that this product went so viral in 2 days that people actually started to make up websites. They made different shops. They sold it on eBay, and because the 3D modeling files were available online, these people just got a 3D printer and then they got one of these, they got the filament, they got the 3D printer, and they got the designs. And because the designs were available for free on the internet, they just really took it. And then they started to mass produce this. They started to mass produce this so much that people actually started to sell them on eBay for like 50, 100 times the price. Because this thing, I'm pretty sure, wouldn't cost more than, yeah, it cost around 100 rupees, 150 rupees to print this. And people sold it on the internet for like 500, 600 rupees, even like $50 sometimes. And Scott Jan basically made a business out of this in literally a week. He joined up with print farms. He got a bunch of 3D printers. He's made the files public. He took these files, he copyrighted them, and he made up his entire business in literally the span of a week. And this is not to uh, I'm telling you this to explain you how easy it is to start a business with 3D printing. Now, 3D printing is absolutely insane. I'm starting a business with 3D printing like Abhi recently. I haven't copyrighted it yet, plus the website is not really up yet. So I'm not going to be discussing much about it, though I'll definitely tell you guys about it in a bit. A lot of people can actually 3D print different products and then sell them on the internet for a much more, for like an insane price tag. I would say when you're going to these different communities like Bambu Labs community, you gotta know something that when you post something into the Bambu Labs community, you can't just take their design and then sell them. Like let's say, hmm, let me see. Let's say you really like these charms, or I'll give you a better example. Hold up. Let's say you like these frames. Sure, absolutely. Go ahead. Let's say you like these frames, these glass frames. You can't just straight away take them and then sell them on the internet. Just print them and then sell them. You guys need to know something. When you go onto these public websites like Maker's World or like the other ones that you might just find on the internet with a bunch of 3D models, you gotta know that all these things are probably copyrighted. So you can't away just straight away take these things, print them, and then sell them on the internet because you're probably gonna get a lawsuit. So you got to make sure whenever you do want to sell these things and you don't want to 3D design your own things, I would say look for things that have commercial licenses on them. Like if you just search up commercial licenses, yeah, when you see products like these which say free commercial license, commercial license, when these things say free commercial license, then you can do absolutely print them and then sell them for whatever the price that you want to. Though I wouldn't really recommend it. I would say go make your own products and stuff. Now, uh, okay, I got around two, three things left to go. I'm gonna explain you guys the different popular CAD software that there are in the world. After that, I'm gonna give you guys the actual demonstration with the 3D printer that I have, the Bambu Lab A1. Now, different softwares that people use to actually do 3D modeling. Let me show. Now, there are a bunch of software out there which are used for 3D modeling, though I'm gonna only explain you two of them. The two most absolutely best one, you won't even have to search up any other softwares in the entire world if you just go by these two ones. If you're into 3D printing, then 3D printing you're going to require a few more softwares. Like if you have a 3D printer, then you need the 3D printer software. Like I have the Bambu Labs 3D software right here. You can take this, this is the build plate for the Bambu Lab one. So you can just straight away just put something in here and then make it. So you're going to need Bambu Lab software. This is the Bambu Studio. So this is the most common one. Let's say if you have a Bambu printer, you have a random printer, you're going to need to get their software. After you get the software and you get the 3D model, you can just straight away put the 3D model and the software, create the bridge between them, and then boom, you can just send your prints out to your printer, and that's all you need. To actually do 3D modeling and graphic designing and make these 3D models is, I would say, there are a few very completely free ones out there as well. So let's say Fusion 360. This is a little bit. This software is a little bit complicated to use. So I would never recommend anybody to just straight away go and then download Fusion 360. You won't understand much of it. Though I will tell you how you would understand. So just me stumbling across these different softwares. There is one software. I think it was called Onshape. Yeah. This is an insane product development software. So this is a complete web-based software. You don't need to download it. You don't need to do anything. You just sign in, and then after you sign in, you will basically get this entire platform where you can 3D model things really easily. Let me show you. This is the possibly the simplest possible way you can 3D model things. This is the most simple one. Okay, so let's say how can you do this? Let's say you want to make this. A lot of you guys are also going to be into things like, let's say, hardware. Anybody who's into hardware, I would say 3D modeling is going to be like one of your, it's going to be really interesting to you because when you see different hardwares, like let's say an ESP32, and when you actually want to make something, you will realize that you're going to need fits for your own solutions, which you won't find on the internet, which you can't just buy from Amazon or that you can just buy from eBay. You're going to actually need to make things of your own, like cases. So let's say this case, I made this entire case myself. So it contains a bunch of these components. Now, the thing with these, let me show you. I haven't used this software in a while. Okay, so this is the most absolute basic 3D modeling software that I would possibly recommend anyone. Anybody who wants to do 3D modeling or actually wants to pursue 3D printing, I would say do this first. This is the most simplest software that you can possibly find. So using this is so easy. It's insane. So I'll explain you guys the most basic parts of these things. I haven't used this software in a while, so I might be a little rusty with Onshape, though I will explain you all the complicated things on Fusion. Let me show you. I would say anybody who's actually willing to go into 3D modeling, use Onshape for around a month. Practice it a little bit because a lot of the basic concept of 3D modeling are absolutely the exact same in Onshape and Fusion 360. It's just that Fusion 360 have just has a bunch more features. So I would say just use Onshape for around a month, and you will basically learn around 90% of the things that you just need to. And when you actually make the transition into Fusion 360, you won't find it like really complicated. So just go on Onshape, and then when you go there, you can design anything. The thing with Onshape is that it's really simple. You can just insert an element, anything that you find from the internet, and even just edit it. You can extrude things. Let me tell you these basic things. Let me make a new project. I want to explain you guys something really simple. So I'm not going to pull out anything too complicated just yet. I'll show you a few things in Fusion 360 which are a bit more complicated. Yeah. So let's say you want to make a cookie cutter. So let's say Hack Club had this one event which we're also going to conduct. Let's say in the future there's also going to be one event that I'll be hosting for you guys. You guys can make your own 3D models, and when you do, you can get a grant, some amount of physical money that you can actually spend into, like, let's say 3Ding, and then you can make those things yourself. If you don't have a 3D printer, you can just pay other people to make it for you. There's a community out there which basically has a bunch of people who has 3D printers around you. You can find them, you can just search them up on the internet, you'll find them if you don't have a 3D printer. And if you don't have one, there are two possible ways. One, go to that community, get other people to 3D print things for you, or you could either go to things like 3Ding. Yeah, this is the leading printing community right now. most simple way to actually do anything. So let's say these are 3D printer, 3D services. Alright. So one thing that you need to do, let me explain you the formats first. There are a bunch of different formats which you can export your 3D models, because they're not just really simple things like, let's say, a PDF. You can't export a 3D model as a PDF or a JPEG. You got to export them as an either these things. Let's see, an STL. Where do they go? 3D services. You can see all these different things. An STL, OBJ, a step file, an STP file, a 3MF file. Now, I'll vaguely explain you what each of these actually mean. An STL file doesn't have that many details. An STL file basically has main details. You can convert these STL files into all of these formats really easily. 3MF files are basically files which are ready for 3D printing. Like, let's say if you want to print something, you can't just straight away take a STL file or a step file. You're gonna have to take those two files and you're gonna have to convert them into 3MF. After you do convert them to 3.5, you can upload them into your studio. After you do that, you can just upload them here and then start printing. It's that simple. And then step files. I think step files are a little bit, they don't have a lot of details. All 3D models are made in triangles. So let me show you something. My computer is literally crying, Abhi bhai. It's gonna be laggy. Okay, there we go. Damn. Okay, my computer is like really struggling with all of these softwares open. I have like VS Code, Fusion, absolutely everything open. That's crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys know a little bit about the different software that you can use. Of course, you can use Onshape to first go there, learn there for around a month, and then switch to Fusion. After you switch to Fusion, if you're a little bit not into 3D modeling, just to 3D print these things, I would really recommend you to go in Blender instead. You can just use Fusion 360 to vaguely get the things that you want, and then Blender is basically this entire studio which you have just to edit the things that you made. Fusion 360 will give you a very vague representation of like making things, let's say like this lamp. It's really simple. You can technically make really complicated things with Fusion 360 just because of the amount of features it has. Though I would always say use Onshape, then use after that switch from Onshape to Fusion. After you switch from Fusion, don't use Fusion for absolutely everything. Use Fusion to make that simple STL file or step file, and then do all the different weird things that you want to do with your product, all the little tweakings, everything that you want to do with it. Do it in Blender, because I just find Blender to be like much easier. Even though Blender is like, it looks really complicated, but trust me, you don't need to know about half of these things. You just need to know about like all of these things at the top and then a few of these things at the bottom. That's literally about it. Plus these things on the left. That's all you need to know. All the other things, trust me, I've explored all of these things. They are not as simple. Plus, you're not going to be using them in your daily life. So I'm going to let you guys on a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to let you go guys know how these 3D models are actually framed. So 3D models, all these different files that you see, it basically makes different triangles. So you can see this. Let me zoom out. So this entire ring, it looks like one single product right now. Though when you zoom inside of this one single item, you can see that it's made up of a bunch of little tiny triangles. So you can see this. That's a triangle right here. That's a triangle. That's a triangle. That's a triangle. So the amount of triangles that you have in this one, in a one item, or per square meter, is the amount of details that you're gonna have in your print. So these things really matter because these amount of triangles determine the amount of quality that you have, the even the file size that you have, the size of the file, because these files can get like really big. Not like in gigabytes, depending on what you're making, though they can definitely get up to around 150, 250-ish megabytes. So I would say really get a drive for all your things. Yeah, so you can see all of these things are made up from different size triangles. All these different size triangles come up and then they form basically this one thing that you need to print. It's really basic fundamentals of how 3D softwares and then 3D modeling softwares work. Now, the basic things of using Fusion 360, let's say I got this. Also, one thing I really like about Fusion 360 and Onshape because as soon as AI came out, 3D modeling before AI was actually really complicated. You're gonna have to watch like YouTube tutorials for like 3-4 hours, though no one has the time to watch those 3D tutorials. So I would say just go on download Fusion 360 or just straight up go to Onshape. Yeah, or just straight up go to Onshape. You will find a Copilot on the right. This is the Autodesk Assistant. So Fusion 360 is owned by Autodesk. So you can basically ask Autodesk Assistant absolutely anything. Let's say if you're stuck somewhere or you don't know how to do something, instead of going to YouTube and then finding that one tutorial and then going there and then learning from that one person, that would take you like what, like at least 30 minutes to get your solution. I would say instead just straight up go to this assistant. This assistant can look at your screen. This assistant can look at the 3D model that you have in front of it. It can even look at the different things that you did it beforehand. So let's say you insert I just inserted this one component here. So let's say if I take this one component and let's say I add an extrusion, maybe that's exactly it. Mhm. So whenever you do anything, uh, all the different changes that you make into your 3D model is gonna be reflected at the bottom. So all of these things is what you're actually gonna do. So this is the recovered one. So I can't actually edit this one because it's been recovered. The thing about Fusion 360 is technically Fusion 60 is not completely free, though if you're a student or maybe work in a if you're there at college, you can get it for free and you can get absolutely everything. I have Chef Circle, so I have a startup, so I got this one for free. Though there are a few loopholes to get Fusion 360, if you go to their site and then just search for a few free version, you can technically download Fusion 360. It's gonna be a little bit restrictive for you to use it. Like a lot of the very complicated features, which are probably not gonna use in your life like ever, are not gonna be there, which is completely fine because you don't need it to that extent. You have Blender for that, so you don't need Fusion 360 for absolutely everything. So when you have Fusion 360, basically go here. I'm gonna explain you guys a little bit about the basic things about 3D modeling now. I'm gonna go create a new project. This is gonna be a little bit laggy, so if there's like a few lags here and there, just deal with it, I guess. I have a bunch of things open, so let's say I want to make a part. If I go here, hmm, okay. So let me explain you what each of these different things at the top mean, because you'll find these really common things here in every single 3D modeling software there possibly is in this entire world. These things are gonna be the exact same. That's why I say use Onshape for the first month, because these things are gonna be the exact same. All the complicated things are gonna be like here when you start to create 3D models into these meshes with all these different triangles, which then you have to calculate the surface area of, and then after you do that, you have to make sure how much filament it's going to take, what your cost of the filament is going to be. So Fusion 360 does all of that. But just to make sure it's a little bit simple, use Onshape first. I'll explain you what these different things are really quickly. Extrusion. Extrusion basically what it does is if you have a sketch, you can take that sketch, click on it, and then extrude it. It will basically give it width. It will create your 2D it will create your true 2D model into something which is 3D. Let me try to show that right now. I haven't used that in a while. Let me just create a simple box. Okay, so I have this one little box right here. Okay, okay, this is the one box that I have. How do I convert it into something that I actually, let's say, what do I convert this into? I'll just explain you the basics of everything first. Let's say you have this one 3D model right here. Now, you wanna increase its width or something. You can click extrude, click on the surface that you want to like stretch out, click on it, and then you can basically stretch it out, make it thicker, make it thinner. You can even make it way thinner and it'll like decrease the entire thing. You can even just take this and the entire model's gone. Okay, so you can even create a little sketch in Fusion 360 itself. You can take this and then Mhm. One thing about Fusion 360 is that if you have the free version in Fusion 360, you can only have around, I think, 10 actual editable models. So let's say this document has reached its limit. So when you have the free version of Fusion 360, all the other models that you previously had, they start to slowly become read-only ones. So there are only 10 different files that you can possibly have, which you can actually edit. So all the others are going to be read only. You can of course convert them back to editable, but you're going to lose a lot of details in it. And also everything that you can do, like let's say we made that box, and then after we made that box, we extruded it. And then when we extruded it, it was gone. So the box is now gone. And then we created a sketch, which is what we're doing right now. So the entire history of what you're doing in Fusion 360 is right there in this tiny little here. You can even play this and then you can actually like get the entire thing what you did. So in Fusion 360, let's say you can create a sketch, a 2D sketch. You can create a line work. After you create that, you can basically extrude that for like a completely different shape. Though I'm just gonna explain you with a really simple box right now. Let me just create another box. Okay, so let's say I have this box. I can extrude it into different directions. Yes, that's extrusion. Revolve. This is a little bit complicated. This works in cylindrical shapes. So in Fusion 360, I really like this one thing. Every single thing that you can see up here, every detail, any minor feature that Fusion 360 possibly has, when you hover over it, you will find what it actually does in its entire definition and how to use it. And if you still don't understand what it actually means, you can just go over here to the assistant and then you can just tell it to do something and it'll do it. I can tell this assistant to extrude this tiny box and make it bigger. Let's say these assistants are actually really helpful. So what it actually does, it checks the entire model. So it checks your entire screen. It takes different snapshot, different screenshots. And then when it does that, it finds that one object that you have, which you're talking about. It takes it, it scans it, and it then basically does whatever you tell it to do. Though using this, I would never recommend, like never ever, I would never recommend using assistants like how you wipe code, let's say. You can't just prompt and then get 3D models. That technology is not that good yet. This can only help you out. So 3D modeling, you're gonna have to learn by yourself, dude. You don't have a choice, right now. Yeah, see, it starts to execute whatever you told it to do. So let's say it's gonna extrude all the four different sides to scale the box. So you can do all these different things. Mhm. See, it just made the box way, way bigger. So when you have, let's say you're 3D modeling something to, let's say, put in a really specific place and you want to know the dimensions. So one thing that I really like to do with with this Autodesk Assistant, which it really helps out because calculating how big these things are is really difficult. Like this thing right now, this thing can be like insanely big. This thing can be like, let's say, a millimeter to like 100 feet or something. This could be a building. You have no idea how big this thing is. So well, you can go to assistant and you can tell it to scale it to that exact what do we call it? That exact scale that you want it. And then after you do that, it'll fix the dimension for each side to make sure that when you print it, it'll actually fit wherever you want to print. So after you're done that, there are a bunch of different things. Let's say this is a hole. You can just click it, make a hole up here. Boom, you have a hole now. It's that simple. It's really easy. All these different things you have over here, everything that you do, of course, goes down over here. So let's say you want to make a hole. You go here. When you do this in Fusion 360, at least you won't find this really complicated stuff open up in Onshape. Though when you do this in Fusion 360, you will find these different things. Let's say you want to insert a tiny screw. You can make a trapped spiral one to make sure that a screw fits inside of it. You can do like an indent one, a flat one at the bottom, just to make sure that the screw fits. The exact width, the exact depth, the exact breadth of whatever you're doing would be labeled here. Uh, it will of course be labeled in Onshape, though not to not to that much detail. In Fusion 360, it's just easier because the details are just laid out in front of you. Like you look at this, everything is just here. Just select, you click OK, and then boom, you have a hole to put in your screw. Now, rectangular patterns, you can basically duplicate different things to make sure your entire build plate, the plate that you have to conserve that plate. So let's say you're printing something really big, or you're printing multiple items to sell them across different places. So you want to conserve that build plate. You got to make sure that this build plate is completely full. You can of course even do this in here in Bambu Lab Studio. See, I could fill the entire bed with copies and it'll do it on its own. I'm telling you, this technology has gone to be absolutely like this technology at this stage is really good. So everything that you possibly imagine right now, it's actually much simpler than it used to be, let's say 2 years ago, just because of artificial intelligence and Bamboo Lab being this insane entity just throwing out everything. So a bunch of other things that you can do. You can, of course, pull these things. Let's say you want to make this hole bigger. You can go here, select this, and it'll make that hole bigger or smaller. You can fill it, so you can make these little curves. See that? You can make sure there's a curve. You can combine two different objects. So let's say if I divide this, I split it, I can combine it into two. I could split this body into two. Let's say I do this. Okay. I can split the body. And then after that, if I want to, I could combine it. I could move it. These are all really basic things in any 3D modeling software. You can do this absolutely anywhere. A few things about Fusion 360 that I really like, why I would recommend you to switch from Onshape to Fusion 360 because all of these features right here. These features you will definitely not find in Fusion 360. They will, after you get really into 3D modeling, you would find a bunch of shapes that you want to make, a bunch of little tiny details that will basically give you an error in Onshape. But in Fusion 360, you'll be able to do those things so smoothly and easily because everything is laid out in front of you. So these are some of the softwares. You can write this down if you want. I'll also list them in the chat. There's Fusion 360. If you have a Bambu Lab printer, then you have Bambu Studios. If you don't have a Bambu Lab printer, if you have some other printer or no printer at all, then the printer that you do have, you can go to their site and then they would have their own software. You have to download that software and that could be your studio. Fusion 360, Bamboo Studio, then you even have Blender. Blender is just so nice. I can't imagine how nice this is. You can even do one thing in Blender. You can get out of sculpture mode, go to object mode, and then you could, with a little bit, yeah, you can see that that's your little tiny camera. So the thing is, you can even model these out, and then after you model your project out, You can, let me show you. Because Blender is such a nice software, it's not just for 3D modeling and sculpting. You can even make animations in Blender. So let's say you have this one object. If I wanted to, I could maybe put it on a table. I could get like lighting from one side. I could make it look really realistic. So I could make the product look what it looked like even before it's in the real world. So you can get a perspective what your product would be when it comes to life. Even though 3D printing these products is like insanely cheap, it's not expensive at all. Okay, let me see. Yeah, you have Blender, Fusion 360, Bamboo Studio. You have Onshape, which is the web-based one. What else could you possibly use? Let me think. You have different types of converters because you're going to be converting STL files into step files and then step files into 3MF files. You're going to be needing a few converters, but those are just web-based converters. They're like PDF to JPEG ones. You can just find them on the internet. They're really easy to find. I would recommend Adobe's though because it's really fast, plus there are no ads. It's really simple. After that, what else? A few communities that there are out there in the world. Bamboo Makers World. Makers World is the most popular one there is. You can find absolutely anything that you can possibly imagine already uploaded here that somebody else from other side of the world probably has already made here and then just straight up laid it out. It's here. You can take that design and then you can print it out. There are different, I would say, even if you have a random 3D printer, I would still recommend you to buy Bambu Labs filament because Bambu Labs filaments are so reliable. Let me get in on my phone in the same meeting and then show you what's actually in my dorm room. I'm gonna show you a few things that I've actually 3D printed myself, a few of the models that I've actually made, and then I'll show you the A1, the Bambu Lab A1 in its all glory. And then I'll also show you, yeah, let me check this. Yeah, I recently just bought Bambu Lab's Tough PLA. So I'll even show you how this PLA actually arrives because these filaments are actually just threads of that plastic. So these are really sensitive to air. So to protect them from that air, because air has moisture in it, that moisture can get in your plastic, and then when that moisture raises a little bit too high and the water content in your filament gets way too high, your prints can get ruined instantly. I'm also going to show you how to actually 3D model stuff. I'm going to show you what is the absolute beginning when you actually start to do this. So one thing that Scott Yujan does is that he makes 3D models in his notebooks. You can take your pen, take your copy, and then just straight away make 3D models in your notebook and then write the dimensions in there. After you're done with that, it's much, much, much easier to actually make the 3D model in Fusion 360 or Onshape at whatever level that you are. Though I would always recommend you to do this because when you're actually working in Fusion 360 or Onshape, you're going to be frustrated. Like, trust me, you're going to be so frustrated in the first 2 weeks. It's going to be crazy. You're going to be looking at so many tutorials. You're going to be using the assistant. You're going to run out of credits for that assistant. And it's going to be really difficult in the first few weeks. But after, when you start to get the hang of it and you start to learn the software itself, it's going to get much simpler. But still, even after like months and years of doing this, I always make a sketch of what I want to do. I take out all the details, like let's say the dimensions, the exact width of every single piece that goes into my design. I will have it laid out before I even start making the design. Because the thing is, when you don't do that, and you're just thinking what should be the dimensions be when you're modeling it, when you're trying to scale it to that perfect zero point 0.1 millimeter format just to make sure that one screw fits, it's going to be really annoying when you don't have the exact dimensions in your hand and you have to like leave your model and then figure out the dimensions. So I would always recommend you to sketch it. I'm going to actually show you my sketches, the ones that I do, and then I'll actually print something on the A1 and then show you how these prints actually turn out. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go on Slack and get that meeting ID to join from my phone. Does anybody have any questions? I completely forgot to ask any questions. Anybody got any questions? You can write them in the chat if you have any. You can even speak aloud. I don't mind. Anybody has any doubts? Is it completely clear? 3D modeling? That simple? It wasn't really that simple for me. I had to understand it. What exactly is CAD? Hold up. Where's our meeting ID? Uh, Let me log in from my phone. Any other doubts? That's the only one. Okay, so what exactly is CAD? Let me explain you. So CAD is basically the name of the technology that we use. I don't know the exact full form. You can search it up or search what the full form of CAD is. Though it is the technology that we use to make 3D designs, 3D or 2D different designs. Yeah, computer aided design. So it is basically the technology that we use. Now, CAD, I have not really met that many people who know how to 3D design and know the meaning of CAD. I'll trust me, when you go out in the real world and you find people actually 3D modeling, like insane people who do this for a living, they don't even know what the full form of CAD is. No one cares what CAD is. Though, CAD, you should know this. CAD is the basic technology that we have that we founded that helps us to design 3D models and 2D designs. That's what all these softwares are basically made upon. Fusion 360 is made on CAD. The what do you call it? The Onshape is completely made on CAD. Absolutely everything, like from Blender to anything that requires a 2D design to 3D designs, runs on CAD. Any other doubts? Anything else? Any doubts in, let's say, the filaments? Because there were a bunch of filaments out there, and the amount of things that you can make with those different amount of filaments really depends on the filament. Any doubts in what you can create? Anything that you think that you can't make, that you're planning to make, maybe, which you think you can't 3D print, maybe you can't make. Maybe if you don't have the resources to, let's say, buy a 3D printer, then what are you supposed to do? Any doubts regarding that? Hold up. Okay, there we go. Has there been any development regarding human organs or tissue printing? Yes, there has been. I've heard a bunch of news that they're 3D printing different organs, though I'm pretty sure that technology has not gotten advanced enough to actually 3D print, let's say, actual fundamental tissues and then put them in human beings. There have been a bunch of advancements regarding actual tissue 3D printing with actual cells, mainly with plants and even tissues regarding, let's say, cow tissues. There's what they mainly use for yeah, cows and mice's tissues. That's what they basically use for doing experiments like those. Though they haven't gotten advanced enough that you would actually print, like, let's say, a heart and then put it inside of a human being. That's a really good question, though. I have absolutely no doubt that I'm pretty sure in the next 50, 60 years, people will figure out a way. Trust me on this, it might not seem that likely to you guys, but I am positive people will figure out a way. Because even my sister, she's in biotech, so I get a lot of this, like every single day. All these different things about technological advancements that happen in the world. I'm pretty sure in the next 50, 60 years, the 3D printing technology is gonna be so advanced that not exactly printing hearts and then putting in people, but making a few tissues. Like, let's say if you get a cut or a bruise, then instead of like a band-aid, you could just print your hand or some shit. Okay, let me show you my entire 3D setup. Give me 1 second to set all of this up. Yeah, hold on. Can you guys see this? Where to go? Give me 1 second. Just trying to set up everything to show you guys the actual 3D printer and then how you actually 3D print all these different things that I'm talking about. After that, I'll show you guys my designs that I work on. Okay, can you guys see this? We switch. Yeah, yeah, amazing. Let's see how this looks. Okay, can you guys see this? Okay, amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, this is the Bambu Labs A1. Of course, going to show you this entire thing in detail in a little bit. But let me just explain you all the different components. And also, I got to plug this thing into it. This thing has no less secure. Very good, like, yeah, it makes noises too. Always found that great. Okay, one thing I really like about Bamboo Labs is that they don't really give you that many tools. I mean, of course, everything that you're gonna need to actually assemble this, they're gonna give it to you. But there's one thing I really like about Bamboo Labs, which they do, is that they make you print your own things. Like, look at this. Bamboo Labs send you this metal thing on top, but you actually have to print this entire thing. This is basically a scraper. Every time you have, anytime that you're going to be working with a 3D printer ever, you're going to be looking at one of these. This is basically because the build plate gets to around 65 degrees. The plastic temperature is it gets soft and it starts to be kind of sticky around 65 degrees. So it gets stuck to the build plate. So that's basically the entire job of this build plate. This build plate can even take this entire build plate out and then even switch it around to make sure both sides are evenly pumped up. Now, whenever you want to take, like, let's say, a print, let me try using this. Give me 1 second.
Is my audio quality better?
Can
Can
somebody
somebody let me know?
thumbs up?
Thumbs up would work. Yeah, works. Thank you guys. What an engaging community today. I didn't expect that many people to be responding. I thought half of you would fall asleep, yeah. So, whenever you use one of these, the bill plate gets to around 65 degrees and this shit gets hot. The nozzle gets to around 300 degrees, which is insanely hot, dude. Now, thankfully, the nozzle itself is gonna be hidden. Let me show you. Yeah, I'm hoping everybody can see the entire printer. Am I right? I want to show you guys absolutely everything in this printer. भाई मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं जब तक सब कुछ नहीं कर दूंगा तुम लोगों ने. Okay, let me give you the entire overview of what this printer actually is for a second. So let me explain you. Right now I have this in manual control, so I can control the printer as I want. This is the let me explain you the basic fundamentals of a 3D printer. There's so much to a 3D printer. Where do I start? Crazy. Okay, so let me explain you. This axis that you see right over here is the Z axis. This axis is the Y axis. So basically, where the build plate moves. So the Y axis, when you move the Y axis, the build plate moves. Now there are many different types of printers. There are mainly around two. There are around 5 6 types of 3D printers out there, but there are mainly around two types of printers. So see, there's one type of printer which have a bunch of accuracy in which the bill plate is completely stable. So the bill plate never actually moves. This thing that where your 3D prints are actually made, that's called the bill plate. So there are a bunch of printers out there which are really expensive, like Bambu Labs X1Z or H2D. Those printers are really expensive and their bill plate is actually completely set. So the bill plate doesn't move. So there's no y-axis on the bill plate. This is the A1, so the bill plate does move. The y-axis is built into the bill plate. So the mainly all the 3D printers that you're gonna see out there, which basically are cheap and affordable, you can have this. Even though this printer was not cheap, this is like 35,000 guys, and the filament cost like around. I think I spent around 6,000 worth of filaments already. So 3D printing is not like an easy passion. It's kind of expensive thing to have. Though I would say definitely get into it. Get grants or something if you're into it and you don't have the money to. Trust me, you'll get it. It's really easy. Now, I'll also give you guys a few different things, a few forms where Bamboo Labs official forms where you can get really those grants really easily. Just message them, email them, you'll get those grants. So this is the Z axis, this is the Y axis, and the axis where this actually moves, the nozzle, that's called this x-axis. So you can see when I move when I click the X, that moves. When I click the Y-axis, the build plate moves. This is negative Y, so it moves forward. This is Y, so it moves back. Negative X moves to the left. Normal X moves to the right. Z up, and Z down. So X, Y, and then Z. In your normal 3D printing, I've gotten into a bunch of fights with like 10th grade kids who just studied geometry, and then there's even I did, dude. Those people are like, that's not the Z axis, that's not the Y axis, and then dude, they keep on mixing up Z and Y axes. Though it is a little bit complicated, but when you get into 3D printing, you would find that in 3D printing, at least, I've never gotten through that debate itself. Though in 3D printing, I do know that every single 3D printer has this side as the Z axis and this side as the Y axis. Even though like a lot of people say that this is the Y axis, it is not the Y axis. This is the Y axis. So even when you're working with X and Y axes, you see that those are 2D models, and 2D models we always take them as a plane. So they're always horizontal on a plane. So Y axis is always this one. Z axis is always this one. So I'm gonna explain you a little bit about this printer. This specific one, this is the Bambu Labs one. If you ever gonna buy a printer, buy a Bambu Labs printer. Please spend a little bit more money, buy a Bambu Labs printer. Trust me, it's gonna be much more better. It's gonna have a better life if you buy a Bambu Labs printer. This printer is the Bambu Labs A1. There is also a cheaper printer which you can buy, which is around 20,000 rupees. It's much cheaper. You can even buy them for around 25,000 rupees, and that is basically the exact same as this one, the A1, but it is much smaller. The build plate, I'm pretty sure, is like around this big. So the build plate is like almost this much. It's much smaller, though I would say that is also worth it. 90% of the things that you're going to be printing, you are not going to be needing this entirety of all this space. This thing can go up really high, so it can print till around here. Now, you're not really gonna need that space ever, because all that space, dude, that filament is gonna cost you like 2,000 rupees, bhai. You're gonna be finding ways to conserve that filament. Now, let me show you how this filament actually arrives. Give me one sec. Now, whenever you buy filament, you will always find filament like this. This is how it will come to your house. Basically, how this is gonna come to your house. This is a filament that I bought from Amazon, which just came like yesterday to my dorm, and this is Bambu Labs filament. So take this. It'll say the actual filament's name. It says Bambu Labs PLA Tough Plus. This is the around 2001 that I found on Amazon. This is insane. There is no Bambu Labs official shop that you can actually go and then find this, because Bambu Labs have different shops, different sites. So like Bambu Lab has a shop in Amazon. It doesn't have its own shop in India. No, not even in America. I don't think so. So it's gonna arrive like this. Inside of it is the actual filament. Though I did tell you guys a little bit about this. The filament is gonna be completely black. Like this is vacuum sealed. Now, filament itself, any type of filament, look, PLA is not bad. It's pretty resistant to water. It's pretty resistant to moisture in the air. Though always I would say seal your seal your filament, because filament gets like really weird when it moisture starts to seep into it. Now all the information on the filament would be written on the spool itself. When you buy the 1001 that I showed you, the normal PLA from Bambu Lab, you're gonna find that it doesn't even come with a spool bhai. Like generally I was so disappointed. I was like, dude, I spent like 1,000 rupees on this and they didn't even send me a spool. You know what I had to do? I had to buy another filament, and I had to make my own spool. This is completely 3D printed. I 3D printed my own spool just to like put filament inside of it and use the white one. So this is Normus Bamboo Labs one. The spool that comes with it is absolutely insane. It's really good, really high quality. How do I open this? Yeah, my warden's gonna kill me. Okay, so these things are always vacuum sealed. The only reason that they're vacuum sealed is to protect them from moisture. Now, how many of you guys have seen those silicon little pellets, the balls, the silicon balls, the really tiny one that comes with like absolutely everything. It comes with anything. Honestly, it comes with dry fruits. It comes with food products. It comes with what do we call it? What do we call it, guys? Yeah, it comes in fucking packaging. It comes in attachments. It comes in anything. Now, those silicon pellets, what do you think? What do you guys think they do? You can speak up. Open. Dude, I can't look at the chat as if I. Kuch bol do. Okay, what do you think those silicon? There's one right here. Every time you get one of these spools, any company that you order that spool from, you're gonna get one of these. Now, before you actually start to get into 3D printing, you're gonna ignore these to the absolute finest and then throw them in the garbage. When you actually start to 3D print, you will know the value of these things. I have like 50 of these stored because how valuable these things are. Of course, they're really cheap. You can buy them off the internet, though these things are really helpful. Was these things let me ask you guys, what do you think these things are for? I think most of you are gonna know what this is, right? What do you think that little pellet is? What do you think this is? I'll tell you, these are silicon balls, but what do you think this is for? Is an holder.
Let me increase the volume.
Yeah, you can even type in the chat.
Go ahead, I can look at it. What do you think these are for?
What do you think these are for?
किस लिए होएगा?
किसके लिए होएगा?
What does it do?
What does it do?
Anybody? It's really
Anybody?
simple.
It's
I'm
really
pretty
simple.
sure
I'm
most
pretty
of you
sure
guys should
most
know
of
what
you
this
guys
is.
should know
Come on,
what this
guys.
is. Come
I
on,
know you
guys.
guys do.
I know you
You
guys
guys
do.
just really
You guys
shy.
are just really
Tell me what
shy.
this is.
Tell me what this is.
Tell me, tell me.
Tell me.
What is this?
What is this?
I sort of half of
I
these
sort of
people,
half of these
you guys are
people,
gonna
hi,
be
you guys are gonna
googling
be
this shit.
googling this shit. Okay,
I'm gonna actually
I'm
tear
gonna
this
actually
open
tear
and show
this
you
open
what
and
this
show you
is.
what this is.
They
But
tell you not to
they tell
eat
you not to eat
this.
this.
Don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
Though even if
Though
you do
even if
eat
you
it,
do
it's not
eat it,
gonna
it's not
harm
gonna
you.
harm you.
It's completely
It's completely.
How do I open
How do I
this?
open this?
Let me
Let me
get a
get
few
a
different
few
ones.
different ones.
Also,
Also,
when you buy a
when you buy
Bambu
a
Lab
Bambu
printer,
Labs
you're
printer,
gonna get
you're
a
gonna get a
bunch of
bunch of
accessories.
accessories.
These are all the
These are all the
accessories that
accessories
came
that
with
came with
my
my
Bambu
Bambu
Labs
Labs
A1.
A1.
So it
So
comes
it
with
comes
a
with
bunch
a
of
bunch of
lubricant for the
lubricant for
axes.
the
It comes with a
axes.
bunch
It
of
comes
grease
with
for
a
some
bunch of
reason.
grease for
It
some
comes with a
reason.
little bit
It
of
comes with a
filament
little
just
bit
for
of
test print.
filament
It
just for
comes with
test print.
screws to
It comes
assemble
with
it. It
screws to
comes with
assemble it. It
manuals. It
comes
comes
with
with warranty
manuals. It
cards.
comes
It
with
comes with
warranty cards. It comes
everything
with
that you could possibly
everything that
need
you
to
could
set up your
possibly
print and
need
do
to
your
set up
first
your print
print.
and do your first
Though
print.
I would
Though
always say
I would
buy
always say
a few
buy a few
filaments before you get
filaments
the
before
printer.
you get the printer.
Now,
Now,
where did that?
where
Where
did
did it
that?
go? Where did
Where
I
did
put
it
it?
go? Where did I put it?
अरे कहाँ गया? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
I found one.
Oh, I found one.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
gonna open
I'm
one of
gonna
these and
open
we'll
one of
show you
these
what's inside of
and
this.
I'll show you what's inside of this. Okay.
No, I wouldn't
No,
really
I
recommend
wouldn't really
opening these.
recommend
Don't
opening
do this
these.
at home.
Don't do this at
Not
home
really
because
supposed
you're
to
not
eat
really supposed
these
to eat these, like
accidentally.
even accidentally.
Do you see this?
Do you see this?
There, honey, come on,
There,
focus.
honey, come on, focus.
Can you guys see
Can you
this?
guys see
Let me
this?
know if you guys
Just let
can
me know if
see
you
this.
guys can see this.
Amazing.
Okay, amazing.
Okay, so these
Okay,
are
so these
tiny,
are
tiny,
tiny,
tiny
tiny, tiny
silicon gels.
silicon
They
gels.
are really
They
hard
are
little
really
blocks of
hard little
silica.
blocks of
This
silicon.
is mostly
This
pure
is mostly
silicon.
pure silicon.
Though, look at
Though,
this.
let me look at
Yeah, this is
this.
actually my first
Yeah, this
time
is actually my
opening one of
first
these
time even
packets. I don't
opening
want
one
to
of
drop
these
this.
packets. I don't want to drop these. There's
Okay,
so
so
many. Okay,
basically
so
these things are
basically
really,
these things
really,
are
really
really,
good
really,
at
really good at
absorbing moisture from our
absorbing
environment.
moisture from our
So from the
environment.
air, our
So
air
from the air,
has
our
a bunch of
air has
evaporated
a
water,
bunch of
which is
evaporated
basically
water, which
moisture
is
in the
basically
air,
moisture in
and
the
that
air,
moisture
and
in the
that
air
moisture in
because
the air because
these
filaments,
filaments
these
are
filaments
not entirely
are not
completely
entirely
solid.
completely
These
solid.
filaments, even
These
though they
filaments,
are kind of
even though
solid,
they
they
are
will feel solid
kind
to
of
you,
solid, they will
though they
feel
have a
solid to
bunch of
you, though
microscopic
they have a
pores,
bunch of
and उन
microscopic
pores के
pores,
अंदर
and
basically
उन
that
pores के
moisture
अंदर
goes into those
basically
pores
that
and then
moisture
settles
goes
in
into
there.
those pores and then
When that
settles in
happens,
there.
and when
When
you
that
print
happens, and
something,
when you print
after
something,
those moisture
after
pores
those
are
moisture
completely
pores
filled with
are
water,
completely filled
your
with
print's
water,
quality
your
is going
print's
to be
quality
ruined. Your
is going to
print
be
quality is
ruined.
not going
Your
to be
print's
good. Your
quality is not going to
prints
be
are going to
good.
come
Your
out
prints are
weird.
going to come out
No matter
weird.
what you do, it's not
No
going to be
matter
even
what
your
you do, it's
printer's
not going to
fault.
be even
It's
your
just going to
printer's
be
fault. It's
that
just
your
going to be
filament
that
has
your
a
filament has
moisture in it. So
moisture in
one
it.
thing that you can
So
do
one thing that you can do
whenever your
whenever
filament
your
gets moisture in,
filament
it
gets
doesn't mean
moisture
that
in,
it's
it doesn't
broken.
mean that it's
It doesn't mean
broken.
that you have
It
to throw
doesn't mean
away
that you
this
have to
entire
throw away this
expensive
entire
spool. You don't have to do
expensive
that. This
spool.
thing
You
is
don't have to
expensive,
do
but you
that. This
don't
thing
need
is
to throw this
expensive.
away. So
But
one
you
thing that
don't
you
need to
can
throw
do
this away.
is take these
So
silicon
one thing
gels.
that you can
That's
do
why it actually
is take
comes
these
with these
silicon
silicon
gels.
gels
That's
to
why it
make sure
actually
that
comes
even in
with
the
these silicon
packaging,
gels to
that
make sure
if
even in
there's
the
some damage,
packaging that
there's going to
if
be
there's
no
some
moisture
damage,
inside of
there's
the
going to be
spool
no
itself,
moisture
in the
inside of the
actual
spool
filament.
itself in the
So
actual
these
filament.
things are
So
silicon
these
gels.
things
These
are silicon
are
gels. These
tiny,
are
tiny, tiny silica,
tiny
99% pure
silica,
silicas,
99% pure
what do you call
silicas,
them, balls,
what
which
do you call them, balls,
basically,
which basically,
have you guys seen a
have you
sponge?
guys seen a
So a sponge
sponge?
has a
So a
bunch of
sponge
holes
has a
inside of
bunch
it,
of holes
and
inside
it
of
stores
it,
a bunch of water.
and it stores a bunch
These
of
silicon
water.
gels
These
are
silicon
the
gels
exact
are the
same. So
exact
these
same.
silicon
So
gels,
these
I think
silicon
around
gels, I think
5
around
grams of them
5
can
grams of
store
them
around
can
3
store
grams of
around
water
3
inside
grams
of
of
it.
water
I think
inside of it.
around 3
I
grams of
think
water
around
inside
3
of
grams
5
of water
grams of these
inside of 5
pellets,
grams of
which
these
is
pellets,
insane.
which is
For
insane. You put these things inside of these box, and it's gonna absorb all that moisture right inside. Just because it has so many microscopic pores inside of it, that all that water starts to settle down inside of these. It attracts a lot of moisture. Now I'm gonna I'm not gonna throw these. I'm gonna actually put these right here.
I don't want to throw it
I
away.
don't want to throw them away.
Yeah, hold on. I think
Yeah, hold up.
I
I
actually
think
3D
if
printed this.
I actually 3D printed this as well.
You see them like
You
I.
can see them better in here.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's see that.
let's see that.
Tiny, tiny,
Tiny,
very, very
tiny,
tiny.
very, very tiny.
Little.
Little,
What do you call these?
what do you call these?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little silken
little
balls.
silken balls. They're very cute. Just don't eat these guys.
They're really
They're
shiny
really
too. Now
shiny
you can
too.
find
Now you can
silicon
find
gels. A
silicon
lot of
gels. A
people who
lot of
buy
people
3D
who buy
printers
3D
just
printers
straight up
just
buy
straight
the
up buy
these
these
silicon gels,
these
and
silicon
because
gels,
है मेरे
and
पास पैसे
because
नहीं
है
है
मेरे
तो
पास
फिर I'm
पैसे नहीं
gonna
है तो फिर I'm
hold on
gonna
to these
hold
ones.
on to these ones.
The thing that you can
The
actually
thing
do
that you can actually
is
do is
yeah, the thing you can
yeah, the thing
actually
you can
do
actually
is
do is
one second, we have a guest who
we
wants to
have a
come in.
gas mask.
Yeah, another thing
Yeah,
that we can
another thing that we
actually
can
do with
actually
these
do with these
pellets
pellets
is that you can just straight
is
away
that you can
buy
just
them
straight
from
away buy
Amazon.
them from
And when
Amazon.
you buy
And
those
when you
pellets from
buy
Amazon,
these
now you
pellets
can
from
even
Amazon,
find
now you can
pellets
even
which
find
change
pellets
their
which
color
change their
as the
color
moisture start to
as the
seep in.
moisture start to
A
seep in
lot
them.
of
A
things,
lot of
one
things,
thing that people
one
don't
thing
know
that
about
people
these
don't know
silicon
about these
gel
silicon
is
gels
that you can
is
put
that
them in
you
the
can put them
microwave.
in the
I'm not sure
microwave.
if you
I'm
can do
not
that
sure
with
if you can do
every
that with
single
every
silicon gel
single
that you can
silicon gel
find.
that you can find.
Probably, I
Probably,
wouldn't put
I
the
wouldn't put
packets
the
inside of the
packets inside of
microwave.
a
Don't do that.
microwave. Don't do
Though
that.
a lot of
Though a
the
lot of
silicon
them
gel do
silicon
say you can
gels
put
do
them
say
into
you
the
can put them
microwave
into the
and then
microwave
release
and
the
then
moisture
release
out,
the
and
moisture
then you
out,
don't have to
and
buy
then you
new
don't have to
ones.
buy new
So
ones.
just take
So
those
just take those
silicon pellets that
silicon
you do have,
pellets that you
put
do
them in the
have, put them
microwave,
in the
and boom.
microwave, and boom.
A lot of people
A
do
lot
that
of
just
people do
because the
that just
filament's
because the
gonna last you
filament's
like
gonna
kind of
last
a
you
long
like
time
kind
if
of
you're
a
not
long time
using
if you're not
that
using it
much.
that much.
So you have to
So
make
you have to
sure that your
make sure
filament
that your
doesn't get too
filament
much
doesn't
water
get too much
inside.
water inside of
Now
it.
with PLA,
Now
that's
with
not
PLA,
that big
that's
of a
not that big of
problem.
a problem.
Though
Though
one thing is
one
really,
thing
really
is really,
important you
really
guys have
important
to
you
know
guys
about
have to know
filaments.
about
It's really
filaments. It's
important.
really
Is
important.
that
Is that
moisture?
moisture?
I'm not
I'm not
exaggerating at
exaggerating
all.
at all.
The moisture that
The
goes into
moisture that goes
filaments
into
in
filaments
PLA
in
is
PLA
not
is
going to be that
not gonna be
much.
that
It's
much.
not going to be
It's not gonna
noticeable.
be
You can put
noticeable.
this
You
thing
can put
out
this thing
like
out
right
like
here
right
for
here
like what,
for
a
like
month,
what,
and
a
it won't
month,
do
and it
much
won't
to
do
it.
much to
Though
it.
when you start
Though
to
when
get
you
to
start to get to
filaments,
filaments,
let's say,
let's say
actually, I'm not sure. I'm
actually,
not
I'm not
going to
sure.
open
I'm
this
not going to
yet.
open this yet. I'm going to show you
But
what this
first, I
is.
have to
But
tell you
first, I
guys
have to
this
tell you
one thing.
guys this one thing.
When you guys
When you guys
actually buy
actually
filaments
buy
which are
filaments
really
which are
advanced,
really
like carbon
advanced,
fiber
like carbon
filaments,
fiber filaments, like
nylon
nylon
carbon
carbon
filaments,
fiber
which are
filaments, which
insanely
are
durable
insanely
and heat
durable and
resistant,
heat
they
resistant,
have a
they
bunch of
have a bunch of
microscopic pores in
microscopic
them and
pores
they
in them, and they
absorb moisture
absorb
like
moisture like
anything.
anything.
And when they
And
do
when they
absorb
do
that
absorb that
moisture, you
moisture,
gotta
you
understand
gotta
one
understand
thing,
one thing:
that when they
that when
absorb
they
that
absorb
moisture,
that moisture, na,
it
it
completely
completely
ruins the
ruins
film.
the filament.
Now, of course, you
Now, of
can
course, you
dry
can
them
dry
out,
them out,
but drying
but
them out
drying
takes a
them
lot
out
of
takes a
money
lot of
because you're
money
gonna have to
because
buy
you're gonna have to buy
specialized drying
specialized drying
equipment,
equipment,
and
and even like
it's gonna take a
it's
lot of
gonna take
time
a
if you
lot of
try to
time
do
if
it
you
with
try to do it
silicon
with
gels
silicon gels
because
because
those
those
filaments are
filaments
really
are really
expensive.
expensive.
I wouldn't
I
want you
wouldn't
guys
want you
buying
guys
them and
buying
then
them and
just
then just
throwing them
throwing
away.
them away.
Those
Those
filaments are
filaments are
insanely
insanely
expensive
expensive
and they get
and they
ruined
get
by
ruined
water.
by water.
So what you
So
have to
what you
do,
have to
you have
do
to
is you
take
have to
this
take this
filament, you have to
filament, you
put
have
it
to
into
put it
like
in
a
a, like a
completely
completely
sealed
sealed
box
box
where
where
no air
no
can
air
get
can
in,
get
and then
in,
you have
and
to
then
put
you have
like
to
a
put like
bunch
a
of those
bunch of those
silicon gels
silicon
in it, a
gels in
bunch
it,
of
a
those
bunch of those
pellets in it. You
pellets in
gotta
it. You gotta
put
put a
in those
bunch of those
packets in it,
packets in,
and then
and
you have to
then you
make
have to
sure
make sure
whenever you're
whenever you're
not using
not
the
using that
filament,
filament,
you have
you
it
have it
completely
completely
sealed.
sealed.
Now,
Now,
another thing
another
which
thing which
expensive 3D printers do
expensive
have,
3D printers
the
do
one that
have,
I have is
the
around
one that I
40,000
have is
Bambu
around
Labs.
40,000 Bamboo
The
Labs.
ones that
The
Bambu Labs,
ones that
let's say
Bamboo
the
Labs, let's say
H2D.
the
The
H2D.
H2D, I
The
think, is
H2D,
Bambu
I think,
Labs
is
one of the
Bamboo
most
Labs one of the
advanced
most
printers
advanced printers
that they do. I think it's the
that they do. I
second
think it's the
or the
second
most
or the
advanced
most
one that they
advanced
do
one that
have.
they do have.
It costs
It
around,
costs
I
around,
think, 3
I think,
lakhs.
3
Very
lakhs. It's
expensive.
very
Even has
expensive.
laser
Even
cutting
has
built inside
laser
of it.
cutting and built
So
inside of
the
it.
thing is,
Though the
you
thing
can
is,
take that
you can take
filament,
that
and
filament,
on top
and
of the
on
printer now,
top of the printer, no,
on top of the printer,
on
there's this
top of
one
the printer, there's
enclosure
this one
that comes with the
enclosure
printer
that
itself.
comes with the
And
printer
the really
itself,
expensive
and the
ones,
really
you can just
expensive ones. You
put
can
your
just
filament
put
inside
your
that
filament
enclosure,
inside
and
that
then it'll
enclosure,
never
and
be
then
dried.
it'll never be dried.
It'll just never
It'll
dry
just
out.
never dry
It's
out.
completely fine.
It's completely fine.
So
So,
coming back to the
coming back to the
filament,
filament, बहुत बहुत
Bhakti.
कर ली.
So let me
So, let
explain
me
you.
explain
This
you.
filament
This
comes like
filament comes like this. We took out the pellets, we took out the packaging, which was vacuum sealed to make sure there's no moisture inside of it. Always check your packaging to make sure like fuddy to नहीं, and then you have to make sure because it depends how old this filament is. If this filament is a month old, 2 months old, and it gets worse with the different filament that you have. If it's a month old and the packaging is fucked up, then return it right now, dude. You don't waste your money on bad filament. Now filament arrives like this. Now what is this? It is basically a bunch of different plastic wires which are wrapped around each other like a coil. Now, uh, do you see this one tiny black part here? Basically clear. This is to make sure that there are only two ends to this entire bunch of filament. This is around 1 kgs of PLA Tough Plus. So the one end is tucked around at the back inside of here somewhere, in the edges, and then uske baad the main front edge that you're gonna put in the 3D printer is gonna be here, and you have to make sure. Now we're actually getting into 3D printing, and this is a physical part of it. So this is very important. If you fuck any of these steps up, your prints are gonna be ruined, or you're gonna be spending like the next month of your life when this filament is still not over. जब तक ये खत्म नहीं हो जाएगा, you're gonna be tortured for so long. Just because you didn't open the filament right. It's very important. People take this way too lightly. The last filament that I had, which I actually put into this, the Bambu Lab filament, I actually messed up something. I took off the tape, and then I kind of let it sit there. One thing you're supposed to do when you take it off now, you are not supposed to let this thing go. You have this. You gotta make sure this thing doesn't go anywhere, guy. You are not supposed to let this thing go as long as it's not in the in the printer. Because as soon as you let this go, and then it goes under into another one of these things, into like, let's say if I have हाँ, ये निकल क्यों नहीं रहा? There. We're gonna have to cut this part out maybe. Okay. When you have this filament here, and if you drop it or maybe loosen it, and then this filament tangles like this, and then you grab it from here the next time you touch it, you're completely fucked, dude. You're gone. That entire spool is then gone. That spool is gonna keep on getting tangled, and because if you use a Bambu Labs printer, it can detect those tangles. So the very important thing is when your spool does get tangled now, it's really difficult to untangle it. The amount of times that I'll actually show you something. I printed this box. Do you see this box? I printed this entire box, like a first aid box that I printed when I went to my college. So the thing is, do you see those? How do I show them? Intricate details on these things. Yeah, do you see these lines here? Yeah. When you have tangled filament, this is what happens. You won't get a good finish. It'll Your prints keep on stopping midway, and when your prints stop midway, because Bambu Labs printer are so capable now, they can handle it. But the thing is, they will still give you like these tiny, tiny lines at the between. You see this one line? Yeah, that one line is where I had to get up and then go to the printer, put the spool inside of it again, untangle it, and then restart the entire process. And then it just started from here. Even though Bambula's printers are so advanced, there's still that tiny one line that comes there just because the print stopped for like 3 5 minutes. We take this. Make sure you don't let go of this thing, guys. It's very annoying if it actually gets tangled. Now, we're gonna take this. Okay, I gotta make sure that. Okay, how do I show this to you without getting this thing tangled? Yeah, one thing that you guys see, just to make sure that these things don't get tangled. Now, Bambu Lab is really smart. So Bambu Lab makes sure that there are these two tiny holes here. They're gonna be here like all around the edges. You just take your filament, put it in this hole, put it in this hole. Yeah, you just put it in this hole. So whenever you're not using this particular film, mostly all the time your film is gonna be on your printer. Though when it's not on your printer, this is the way you're supposed to. This is the way you're supposed to leave it off. You're not supposed to leave this one tiny what do you call this? One tiny piece of filament, the end of the filament. You're not supposed to just leave it here, just waiting for it to get tangled. You're supposed to put it in these two holes to make sure that it doesn't get tangled. Really forgot about that. Yeah, let me show you. Now, back to the printer itself, the interesting part. The filament goes over here. So you see this thing, this thing actually can come off. I had to assemble this entire thing just because Bambu Lab saves money to make sure that the boxes are small. They give it to you in two parts. One part is this, the base. So the y-axis comes separate, and then the z-axis comes separate. So the thing is, you have to assemble these two parts. So you have to click them together, and then after you do that, you have to slap this on the top. This is where the spool actually is. So whenever you're changing spools, now because I just got a new filament, I'm really excited to use it. I'm gonna interchange this particular one that I have right now on top of it. This is spools from ANYTHIN. This is also a really good company. I would really recommend you if you're buying some nice filament. Just go up this company either. This is also cheaper, so it's gonna be really good. So take this to change this filament. We're gonna go to its controls. We're gonna set it to around 200 degrees. Remember this one thing. Yeah, this is the control panel of the entire printer here. So see, I set it to 200 degrees and the temperature is rising already. 44 degrees, 50 degrees, 55 degrees. It's gonna keep on getting hotter until it reaches 200 degrees. One thing about this is every time that you buy a filament now, the filament is gonna have all of its detail written on it. So the print temperature for this filament. Okay, when I zoom in, can you actually tell that I zoomed in? No, you guys can't tell that I zoomed in. Okay, hold up. Let me show you. Okay, do you guys see this? It basically says the print temperature, the bed temperature, the fan. So all of these details matter. So when you buy it off a random company, you have to make sure you put all these details in. And because Bambu Lab is smart and Ethan is such a popular company, the all these things were already coded inside of the software, so you didn't have to do anything. Now the temperature for this is 210 to 230 degrees. I just set it to 200 degrees just because when you extrude filament just and it's just straight up waste, you just put it acid and you don't really mind. You don't really care if there's other. Okay. Then you have this. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you a little bit how when you extrude filament what it looks like. You can already see there's a little bit of filament coming out of this end. Let me put this closer so you can guys can see it properly. Amazing. Okay, can you guys see this? Let me know. Can you guys see the nozzle? Okay. Yeah, I guess that's not bad. I want it to be better though. I want to give you guys proper angles to look at everything. Right now, there are a bunch of different tips that come with the printer. There's only one tip that comes with the Bambu Lab one. The tip, when I talk about the tip, I mean the tip where the filament actually comes off of. So this one, let me take off from the stand. There. Okay. So do you see this? When you look at it closely now, you can see that. Let me take this little thing off. You can see that that thing is kind of shiny right there, no? Yeah, that's stainless steel. Now, whenever you buy a 3D printer, it will either come with a stainless steel, a reinforced carbon stainless steel tip, or it would come with, yeah, or it would come with what do you call it? Or either it would come with a bronze tip. So both of these tips are extremely common and they're really good. But the thing is, whenever you use a bronze tip now, and you're using those same filaments which cost like 6-7 thousand rupees, they're really expensive filaments. And when you use them, and this carbon fiber nylon filaments, the insane ones, they have like really tiny, tiny sliver of metal inside of it. And when you use that with a bronze tip, the bronze tips erodes. So due to friction, whenever you rub, let's say a little piece of metal, let's say sandpaper, when you rub it next to the nozzle now, it's gonna ruin the nozzle. It needs to be accurate. The entire thing about this 3D, a 3D printer, especially with Bambu Lab A1 3D printers, the A1 series, is that the nozzle is really accurate. The dimension is really accurate, and when you run things through it, let's say specific filaments like carbon fiber ones, which have these tiny shreds of carbon inside of it, they ruin the filament. They ruin the nozzle, so the nozzle gets fucked up. So I'm gonna change the filament away. I'm gonna manually do it. So this thing right here, you can see this. This thing cuts the filament. If I do that, filaments cut. Now I can easily you see this filament right here. I can just take it off. Right, pull hard enough. Hold up. Working with this like insane piece of equipment is like really hard though because these things won't come off. You can take this off technically, but it won't come off, dude. I spent like at least 10-20 minutes trying to take this off. ये निकलता ही नहीं है भाई. It does not come off. Mhm. You can see me pulling it. It's insane. Yeah. When you go to filaments, you can click on unload. So it does the entire thing by itself. You don't need to do anything to do it. It will do everything on its own. It's going to heat the nozzle to around 250 degrees, which very better than what I did. I heated it to like what 200 degrees.
Okay. And there's oh, we also have Javed here. Hi. Okay.
Okay, so कोई बात नहीं
Hold on, let me see.
let me see.
What time is it? It's 1:23. Yeah, I said the workshop is gonna go around to 1:30. We still have around 7 minutes left. Though, if you guys do permit, I would really like around like 15 minutes, if that works. 15 minutes works now. Let me stop presenting यहाँ से पहले तो. Okay. With around, I'm gonna take
I'm
around
gonna take
15
around
more minutes
15
to
more
explain
minutes
you
to
guys
explain
about
you
this
guys
entire
about
thing.
this entire thing.
No,
No,
I gotta.
I gotta.
It
No,
basically
it
gives you
basically
everything
gives
that
you
you need to
everything
do.
that you need to
You
do
gotta
with
pull
it.
out
You
the
gotta pull
filament
out the
from this
filament
photo.
from
So
this
that
one
now
photo.
it
So
release the
now it
filament.
release the
So
filament.
you can just
So you can just
simply
simply take this thing. You can just
take it out.
take it out,
Filament
and the
comes out.
filament comes out with it. See that?
The filament's out.
The filament's out.
So easy it
That's how
is.
easy it is.
After you do
After
that,
you do that,
make sure you
make
don't
sure you don't
tangle the filament. It
tangle the
doesn't really
filament. It
matter
doesn't
that
really
much when
matter
you only
that
have
much when
like
you only
20
have
grams
like
of
20
filament
grams of
left. It
filament
doesn't really
left. It doesn't
matter.
really
But
matter.
when you have a
But
bunch
when
of
you have a
filament
bunch of
left, make
filament
sure that
left,
you
make sure
don't
that
just
you
leave it
don't
there.
just
It's
leave
gonna
it there.
get
It's
like
gonna get
completely
like
ruined.
completely ruined.
Now about the
Now,
new
about
filament
the
that I
new
wanted to
filament that I
show you, which I'm
completely
really
showed you, which I'm
excited
really
about, I'm
excited
gonna take
about,
this
I'm
new
gonna take this
filament
new filament
and I'm gonna
and I'm gonna
attach it
attach it
right here.
right here.
Just put
Just
it here.
put it here.
Fresh filament.
Fresh filament.
Take the head
Take
off.
the head
Now I
off.
would
Now, I would
usually, I would
usually, I
highly
would
recommend
highly
you actually
recommend you
to
actually
take off
to
this
take
one
off this
tiny
one tiny
slip off.
slip off.
This has
This has
the
this
absolute
the
end. It
absolute
has a
end.
bunch
It
of
has a
glue
bunch
on
of
it,
glue on it. It
a bunch of
has a
cuts
bunch of
on it.
cuts
It's
on it.
bended.
It's
So I
bended.
would really
So I would
recommend
really
you
recommend
to
you
just straight
to
away
just
cut
straight away
this part
cut
off,
this
like
part off like
5-ish
around 5-ish
centimeters.
centimeters.
But because I
But
don't have
because I
scissors
don't
right
have
now,
scissors right now, I'm just not
that
gonna do that.
might be a trouble.
Might be a
Might not
trouble.
be.
Might
Let's see.
not be. Let's see.
So you just
Let's see.
take that
Just take
filament,
that filament.
put that in there.
Put that in there. Boom.
You attach
You
it.
attach it.
On those done,
On those done,
load new filament.
load new filament.
Gonna heat the
It's gonna
nozzle
heat the
again.
nozzle
It's gonna
again. It's
check the
gonna
filament's
check the filament's
location,
location,
and then it's
and
gonna
then it's
cut the
gonna
filament,
cut the
pull back the
filament, pull
current
back the
filament, and
current
push
filament,
new
and then
filament
push
into
new
the
filament
extruder
into
and
the
purge out
extruder
all the
and
old
purge out
filament.
all the old
So this
filament.
nozzle
So
right
this
here, it
nozzle
still has
right
some
here,
of the
it still
brown
has some of the
filament. And
brown
when it has the
filament,
brown
and when it
filament,
has
you
the
don't want to
brown
mix it
filament, you
up
don't
with the
want to
white
mix it
one.
up with the
It'll
white
just
one.
give you like a
It'll just
shitty
give you
ass
like a
color
shitty
which
ass
you don't
color
care
which you don't want your
about.
prints to have.
So it's gonna
So it's gonna
purge
purge out
out
all the
old
old
filament that
filament
already
that it
have.
already
So
had.
after it's
So
done
after
purging
it's
out the
done
old
purging out the
filament,
old
it's gonna
filament, it's gonna
bring in the new
bring in the
filament,
new
and that's
filament,
gonna
and
be
then that's gonna
completely
be
white.
completely
You
white.
see, this is
You can see
bone
this is
white.
bone
You don't
white, so
want
you
this
don't
to mix
want
up
this
with
to
different
mix up
colors.
with different colors.
Push.
Gotta push the filament. Mhm.
You just keep on
You
clicking
just keep
it
on
as
clicking
long
it
as the
as long
filament
as the
doesn't
film
extrude.
doesn't extrude.
Now, there are two
Now, there
things.
are two
Now, you
things.
gotta
Now, you
understand
gotta
two things about
understand
3D
two
printing
things
is that
about
there's a
3D
lot
printing
of
is that
waste
there's a
involved.
lot of waste
A bunch
involved,
of waste
a
involved
bunch of
actually.
waste involved
Because a
actually,
lot of the
because
old
a lot of
filament
the
is just
old
filament that
filament
you
is just
haven't
filament that
used
you
yet
haven't
and it
used
just straight
yet,
away
and it
goes
just
into
straight
the
away
waste.
goes into the
This
waste.
bin I actually
This bin
printed
I
as
actually
I said
printed, as I
Bambu Lab
said,
really
Bamboo
love
Labs
to
really
like
love to
take out
like
its
take out its
not giving
not
equipment
giving
and then
equipment
just
and
telling
then
you to
just
print your
telling you to
own
print your
equipment.
own equipment, which is crazy.
So
So
this entire
this
plate I just
entire plate
printed
I just
myself.
printed
You
myself.
just take
You
this,
just take
the
this,
filament
the
goes in here.
filament
You
goes
can
in
see the
here, so you
filament
can see
is
the filament
extruding.
is extruding.
After that,
After that,
you can see
it's
it
you can
piled
see it piled up in there.
up. Yeah,
You see? Yeah,
the filament
the
always is
filament
piled
all
up.
of it is piled up.
What do you mean? How
What
is
do you
the
mean? How is
environment
the environment
friendly then?
friendly then? Okay,
That
see that?
takes that
It
out,
takes that
and then
out,
the
and then the
filament
filament
that it just
that it just
extruded
extruded
goes
just
inside.
goes inside of here.
See, so this is all
See?
the
So this
waste.
is all the
See the
waste.
amount of
See the
waste.
amount of waste that you get. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
wasting
it's
it.
wasting
All
it.
of the
All
filament
of
is
the
just
filament is
wasted. It's
just
gone.
wasted. It's gone. You can't use that anymore. There are a few machines which do take that filament and then reconvert it into different spools that you can put back into the printer. It is good for it is PLA is better for the environment. Though the thing is PLA is better than other plastics because this, even though this is, you can't use this again unless you have a lot of money. You can take this and then it's actually put into a machine and it degrades. You can't degrade it into basic environment. It's not biodegradable, though if you put it in a machine it would work. Now back to here, the computer. Let me show you.
Anybody got any
Anybody got any
questions?
questions?
Let me know.
Let me know.
Rashi, got any
Rashi, got any
questions?
questions?
If you understood
If you
everything,
understood everything,
give me like a thumbs up or like a text in the chat.
text in the
I would
chat.
be
I
happy.
would be happy.
Or if you speak
Or if you
out loud,
speak
of
out
course, that
loud,
would
of
be
course,
really
that
good.
would be really good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Okay,
guys. Okay.
absolutely amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
So,
So, uh,
let's see.
let's see.
I mean, how is
And
it
how
better
is
than
it
buying
better
a
than
box
buying a
from the
box
market
from the
instead of
market
printing a
instead of
box?
printing a
Well, see,
box?
when you
Well,
buy
see,
a
when you
box
buy
from
a
the
box
market,
from
now
the
that
market, now
box
that box
is
is
around three
around
reasons
three
actually.
reasons actually.
One, it's
One, it's
horrible for the
horrible for
environment
the
because
environment
that box
because
has
that box
probably
has
traveled
probably
more countries
traveled
than
more
you
countries
have.
than you have.
The carbon
That the
footprint
carbon
of that
footprint
one
of that
box
one
is
box is
so high, it's
so high.
insane.
It's insane.
Printing your own
Printing
things
your
is
own
better
things
for the
is better for the
environment. Plus,
environment.
printing your
Plus,
own
printing
things,
your
the
own things,
cost
the
is
cost
much
is
reasonable.
much
That
reasonable.
one box
That
that
one
you
box
are
that
gonna
you
buy
are
from, let's
gonna
say
buy from, let's
Amazon,
say
that one
Amazon,
box is
that
gonna
one box
cost
is
like
gonna
200
cost like
rupees
200 rupees,
with, of course,
with
with
of course
profit
with
margin
profit
inside of
margin
it.
inside of it.
Then you have
Then
like
you have
around
like
200
around
rupees of
200 rupees
fucking
of
delivery
fucking
charges
delivery
inside of
charges
it
inside of
again.
it
You
again.
can buy an
You can
entire
buy an
1
entire
kg spool
1
of
kg
filament
spool
in
of
that much
filament in
amount of
that
money,
much amount
guy.
of money, right?
Okay, now let me show you the
Let me show you the
actual
actual
soft. I
soft.
already showed
I
you the
already showed you
software,
the
but I'm going to
software,
show
but
you
I'm
a
going to
little
show
bit
you a
more
little
about
bit
it
more
because we're
about it
actually
because we're
printing
actually
something now.
printing something now.
So,
So
now,
now
the
the
last thing.
last
Oh,
thing. Oh,
let
let
me.
me.
I
I
haven't
haven't
cut shit off from this one. Okay. What have we done? Designing parts from scratch, done. Popular CAD software and workflows, done. Different types of elements, done. Preparing models from printing. This is what we're doing right now. Real world applications of 3D design and manufacturing. I already explained you the case study of Scotty Jan, where he made his entire business in a week. Yeah, I explained him Fusion 360. Don't worry, Jagran.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
popular
popular
softwares
softwares
all
all
here.
here.
OnShape,
OnShape,
Bamboo
Bamboo
Studio,
Studio, and
and then
then
even
even
Fusion
Fusion
360,
360,
even
even
Blender,
Blender,
dude,
dude,
everything.
everything.
Okay.
Okay.
From
From
here,
here,
now,
now,
one
one
more
more
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
In
Bambu
Bambu
Lab
Lab
Studio,
Studio,
because
because
this
this
entire
entire
thing
thing
is
is
literally
literally
made
made
for
for
Bambu
Bambu
Lab
Lab
printers.
printers. Let me do this. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
say
say
I
I
want
want
to
to
print
print
something.
something.
I
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
print
print
this.
this.
It's
It's
like
like
a
a
shitty
shitty
ass
ass
ring.
ring.
I
I
don't
don't
like
like
it.
it.
Let's
Let's
say,
say,
what
what
do
do
we
we
print?
print?
Dude,
Dude,
I
I
just
just
got
got
a
a
new
new
filament.
filament.
Tell
Tell
me
me
what
what
I
I
should
should
print.
print.
Give
Give
me
me
a
a
few
few
suggestions.
suggestions.
Anything that I already told you, anything that you can possibly see in the world, you can print. Tell me what I should print. Give me some good suggestions.
Jagran,
Agar,
shut
shut
up.
up.
I
I
already
already
made you
made
a
you a
bunch of
bunch of
things.
things.
अब
अब
पैसे
पैसे
दूंगा
दूंगा मैं.
मैं. People,
People,
give me
give me
some
some
suggestions
suggestions
in
in
the
the
chat.
chat.
What
What
should
should
I
I
print?
print?
You
You
can
can
print
print
anything.
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 A pendant.
Pendant.
Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
That's
kind
kind
of
of
basic.
basic.
A
A
mask.
mask.
Let me
Let me
print
print
something
something
which
which
I
I
can
can
print
print
like.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. I
I
think
think
I
I
should.
should.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
have
have
to
to
make
make
a
a
screw
screw
for
for
you.
you.
I
I
completely
completely
forgot.
forgot.
I need to make a screw for Jagrat. Now this PLA that I just bought is PLA which is the
Really
really
tough
tough
one.
one.
This
This PLA
PLA is
is
insanely
insanely
tough
tough
because
because
it
it
has
has
things
things
mixed
mixed
inside
inside
of
of
it.
it.
Not
Not
carbon
carbon
fiber
fiber
initially,
initially,
though
though
because
because
Jagger
Jagrat
has
has
a
a
CMF
CMF
phone.
phone.
I
I
can
can
just
just straight
straight away
away
take
take
this
this
model,
model,
which
which
was
was
of
of
course
course
available on
available on Maker's World, which I've already explained you.
you
You
can
can
take
take
this
this
model
model
up.
up.
Let me go here. Change the filament out. No, you don't need a wallet, Jagger. I'll print you that later, and you need TPU for that. The wallet needs to be flexible. The last one broke because it was made out of normal PLA. Okay, let me edit this. This is Bambu Labs. Not carbon fiber. Bamboo Lab stuff plus. See, mostly every single filament that you possibly buy is gonna be available right here. You just buy Bamboo Lab stuff plus. Color you can just change here. Let's say white. I have white. Dynamic pressure control, that's default, sure, and then done. It changes the filament out on its own. See, edited it. Now, inside of laptop, you see,
Because Bamboo Labs have such a great ecosystem. It's insane. You can just take this. It's already here. I didn't even add this. The printer and the software both communicate together like so fast. It's crazy. Like faster than a text, literally. And then the push diameter, standards, high quality, of course, for Jagrith, high quality. And then, yeah, we can just slice the plate. Slicing the plate basically, it basically tells the software to calculate the entire thing, ki like where the nozzle needs to be at what time. So, look at this. Yeah, you can tell it's gonna take 32 minutes. If you do this, you can see each single layer that it prints. Every single layer that it prints, you can see it. Even if you want to go to like even more intricate details, you can like look at that. You can know where the nozzle is at each time, and it has to calculate all that in seconds. It's crazy how good this technology has become. But when you look into it, you got to be grateful for it because this technology is really crazy when you look into it. See that? Okay. This is a travel. Basically, what it's gonna do when it's gonna wipe its nozzle, when it's gonna unretract, when it's gonna retract, when it's gonna seam. All these things are available all here at the software. There are a bunch of different things that you can do, like the layer height. You can change the quality. 0.8 millimeter is basically the thickness of the filament that's going to purge out of its nozzle. 0.08 millimeter is the highest quality you can do with a 0.4 diameter nozzle. This is a zero point 0.4 millimeter nozzle. So the nozzle's width is zero point 0.4. So the maximum, the least it could do is 0.08. So quality, strength, there's also another thing that you can work around with. Iron. Ironing basically, you can't even see the lines when you print something because it's printed in lines. You can't even you can see the individual lines like I showed you before. Now, when you iron it, you can't see anything. It's all gone. You can even make time lapses because yeah, you can even make different time lapses because the Bamboo Lab, believe it or not, it has the Bamboo Lab has a camera in it. Even though the camera is absolutely shitty, they haven't programmed it really nicely. The camera has like fucking 5 frames per second. It's actually a really good thing to have because you can check if your print's like fucked up or something when you're not home. Like I can send a print when I'm in college to my hostel and it's gonna print it here. Dynamic flow calibration basically helps whenever you change filament, then the thickness, the viscosity of each filament, the way it comes out is different. So dynamic flow calibration basically tells it like after you switch a filament, it basically tells it what's the viscosity and adjusts its things with that. Bed leveling is because the whenever you move your printer to some place, all these tiny things matter. Whenever
whenever
you
you
move your
move your
printer
printer
somewhere,
somewhere,
let me
let me
show
show
you.
you.
Whenever you
Whenever
move
you
your
move your
printer
printer
somewhere,
somewhere,
this
this
tiny
tiny
bed,
bed,
it
it
kind of
kind of
jiggles,
jiggles,
it
it
moves.
moves,
And
and
because
because
whichever place
whichever
you
place
put
you
it,
put
it's
it
not going to
is
be
not going to be
completely
completely
horizontal.
horizontal.
It's not
It's not
100%
100%
horizontal.
horizontal.
The
The
nozzle is going
nozzle
to
is going to
check
check
if
if
each
each
if the surface is completely flat or not. If the surface is not completely flat, then that means that it has
it
to
has to
adjust
adjust
itself to
itself
make
to
sure
make
that the
sure that the
print
print
actually gets stuck
actually
to the
gets
bed.
stuck to the build plate.
Now,
Now,
you can see
you
I
can see
just
I
sent
just
it.
sent it.
I just send
I
the
just
print.
send the
It is
print. The
getting
print is getting
uploaded. After
uploaded.
the prints
After
get
the prints get
uploaded, the
uploaded, the
print is
print
right
is
here.
right here.
It's getting
It's getting
downloaded
downloaded
inside of the
inside of
printer.
the
So
printer.
even
So
if your
even if your
internet or
internet or like
electricity goes
electricity
out,
goes out,
the print
the
is
print
still
is still
fine.
fine.
You can
It
do
can do
without.
without it. Yeah, make those little sounds.
Okay, so
Okay, so
everything that the
everything that your
printer
printer
does, you can
does, you
see
can
that.
see it at the bottom.
Uh,
What all the things it's doing. This is how I usually make all my time lapses for recording these prints. Also, I would really recommend you to clean your bill plate when you haven't used it for a while because dust really matters. If you have a little bit of dust on your bill plate and your printer starts to print on that exact same dust, the dust is gonna make your print not stick to the bill plate. That's the entire point of the bill plate, that it gets stuck to the bill plate. If the bill plate gets some dust on top of it, then it's not the print's not gonna get stuck to it, and then the entire thing's gonna be ruined at the last minute. A lot of other things that I printed recently. Show you. I also just showed you all these silicon gels that you're gonna need. I would really recommend you to just throw it. Oh, I just dropped them. Yeah, I would just recommend you to take one of these gels and just throw them inside of one of these things to make sure that the bottom, the absolute bottom, because it's going to be used at like the absolute last when the filament is almost finished. You have to make sure that the filament at the bottom is going to be dry. So just to make sure that we do that, the silicon gel is wanted to make sure it absorbs all the moisture. Now, this print is not going to take long. This print is going to be actually quite quick. Most of the calibration is what actually takes the time. So the calibration is basically the dynamic flow calibration that we sent it. Like it's going to calculate all the viscosity, the entire viscosity of the filament that we're using. And accordance to that, is going to decide at which speed it has to throw out the filament. Mhm. You can see that it's starting to purge a little bit from the sides. It's gonna the amount of waste it does. This is the dynamic flow calibration. So it is right now determining the viscosity of the filament after it's melted and at what temperature it actually needs to be melted. It takes up all these details, and of course, there's another thing that I would really say: if you have a printer which doesn't have an open case to it, this printer doesn't have an open case. It's completely in the air. There's no case. It's all there out in the open. So it can collect dust, it can do everything. The thing is, when you're using filaments such as the really expensive ones like carbon fiber ones that have nylon inside of it for some reason, the ones that are like insanely crazy, they put like metal inside of it, they put everything inside of it. Those things, when they're melted, they have chemicals, especially ABS. When you have ABS and you print with ABS, a lot of that, they come up with a lot of fumes. It's vibrating the entire printer is vibrating a bit. To just compensate for the vibration it's gonna get. It does a bunch of tests to make sure that the environment is perfect and then calibrate how it's gonna do it. Yeah. Now I'm gonna set this right now. The printer's gonna keep on doing its thing. Till then, I'm gonna show you a few of the printers that you can actually buy. So this is gonna be really fun.
Let me show you all the expensive printers that are out there in the world. They are so expensive, dude. It's insane. Let me see. This is the Bambu Labs one. Of course, as I said, always buy Bambu Labs printers, guys. These are so good. Email them or something if you don't have the budget to, but Bambu Labs printers are the way to go. Don't buy those shitty ass printers that you get for like 12, 15,000. That's gonna make your life really difficult, and your 3D prints are not gonna be good at all. You won't be able to print with anything. This is the Bambu Labs A1. This is the one that I have. It even comes with an AMS. The AMS is basically a machine on the side which has a few motors inside of it, which basically makes sure that whenever the filament needs to switch. So let's say if you want to print with different colors,
You can print with different colors. As I said, you can print anything that you can possibly see out in there in the world, anything that you can touch. So when you want to print with multiple colors, instead of manually changing the filament, because no shit, these printers can't do RGB. Instead of manually changing the filament by hand, that machine does it for you, and it can do four of them simultaneously at the same time. So this is the best one that I would recommend you. Though if your budget is a little bit less, then buy this one. This is the cheapest one that you will find out there. It's basically the Bambu Labs A1. Everything is the exact same. It's just that the build plate is really small. And 90%, as I already said, the 90% of the things that I print or anybody prints in this world is gonna fit on that build plate. It's that you can't print shoes on this. And this build plate is also pretty big. It's not that small. I mean, you can print like 100 of jar screws on this. It's that big. And then there is the Bambu Lab A1, which I have. 34,000. It's pretty, from, for what it can do, I would say it's worth it. But depending on the amount of money you have, you may even buy the A1 mini. But don't buy the big build plates with like other random brands. This the actual really expensive one now. Oh, these ones, I swear to God. This is Bambu Lab's best printer. The one that they have is the best one. They don't even have it in stock. They know no one can afford it, so they didn't even like think of putting it in stock. Let me show you how expensive this thing is. It's like 3 lakhs. Generally 3 lakhs for a printer. Now, the difference between this and this is that this one can actually, this can't do 3D cutting. This one can. This one is the original one from Bambu Lab. It has the green outlet to just to make sure that when the laser cutting is happening on the inside, your eyes don't burn because the laser inside of it is actually really strong. That's the EMS that I was talking about, where you now have to store your filament inside of separate containers whenever you're not using them. You just put them in there, put silicon beads on the side. It'll keep your filaments dry for you. And then, of course, these printers build plate is even bigger than the A1s, but not as big, and these ones are inside of this box. So this is the two types of printers. One are printers that are not in a box, one of them that are in a box. The ones that are in a box, remember that the ones that are in a box are gonna be better always, because they can print with many things. They will keep all the fumes inside, they will keep the temperature inside like really stable. Right now with my A1, even though I'm printing with like PLA Tough Plus, it doesn't really need that stable temperatures. I have the AC going at 22 degrees and it's completely fine. I could turn on the fan, I could blow on it, won't do anything. But just make sure that your children don't go next to it, because when they touch it and like they see some interesting machine working, keep your pets and children away from it. It's really hot, it's really dangerous. It's 300 degrees. The tip goes up to 300 degrees. It's really hot. You will get burned if you touch it. This thing can also like straight away cut wood. It's insane. Now, even inside of this printer, the thing is you can't, with the printer that I have, which is relatively cheaper, even though it's expensive, it's cheaper with this. I can't use this specific filament. Where is it? I can't use this filament. This specific filament is the one that I cannot use. See, this filament is insanely expensive, so either way, I'm not buying this. So this is like 7,000, 10,000 rupees. This is like high temperature nylon carbon reinforced with carbon fiber pellets inside of it. These things require very stable temperature, very stable environments. If you turn on the AC, a single wind comes through your window, your entire print is fucked up. So you gotta make sure that whenever you're using these printers, you use it on like one of those printers which are really expensive, like the 3 lakh one that I just showed you. But the one that I have uses the same Bambu Lab technology that that 3 lakh one has. It's just 30,000 rupees. So that one is actually the one that I have can still manage this, can still manage this filament. It's just that when it does actually print with it, the chances of the print getting fucked up is actually really high. So whenever you're printing with these, just to make sure you don't waste all this expensive filament on like fucked up prints, just
I would say get it printed somewhere else. Maybe 3Ding that I told you about, online printing places where you can actually tell them to print it and they'll print it for you. This is the one that I'm printing right now. This is the one that I just showed you guys. This cost around 2000 rupees. I just bought it a day ago. I completely, like, I unpacked it in front of you. I showed you all the intricate details of this filament. Even installed it in front of you. That's the one that it's printing right now. Actually, let's check on the print. What's the printer doing? In the Bambu Lab Studio, you can even go here. You can click initialize and it'll show you the camera inside of it. See, the camera is not that good. The camera is horrible. Like, it's really bad. It has like 5 frames. The print is already 31% done. I'll show you. Yeah, because I don't want to extend this meeting like way too much. This workshop is gonna be really long if I like go along with all this. It's gonna take 22 minutes more just because I printed on such high quality. It's like the highest quality this printer can possibly do. So this is gonna take like a really long time. 22 minutes just left right now. I'll show you in detail. I'll even, if you want, I can share you a few videos of it printing things. Even if you go online, you'll find all of these different videos, all of these different things that you can just find, like people printing stuff. Uh, Even things that you wouldn't even imagine you could print, like people printing shoes on these. It's insane. Let me show you something actually. People printed shoes, they're not that comfortable because comfortable filament is actually quite expensive. But these shoes are completely 3D printed and you can actually wear them and they're relatively comfortable. They're not bad. Mhm. And if you want filaments for cheap, you can of course go to like a wholesaler and then beg them कि भाई please दे दो भैया तो वो दे देंगे कुछ ना कुछ करके तो दे देंगे. If you live around a wholesaler, you might not even know. Just search one around you. They'll probably live. You probably live like very near to like a person who's making 3D filaments. Just go and ask him, "Can I get one for really cheap, please?" He'll sell it to you for like 1,000 TPU for like 1,000 rupees. There are also a bunch of sites out there like Alibaba. You can search filament on Alibaba. It's really cheap, like insanely cheap. You can buy PLA for 500 rupees there, which I don't know about the quality of that PLA because I've personally never used that like cheap ass filament. But if you want, you can definitely try it and it will definitely work with your printer. It's not going to ruin it. It's just that the quality is not going to be good. So I would really recommend you to buy Bambu Last filament. If not, if you have a really tight budget, then just go on Alibaba, buy the 500 rupee one, you'll be fine. Another one thing that I want to tell you about is in the software itself. When you're printing something completely horizontally, like this, and because I have the A1, it can do bridging. Bridging is basically it can print on air. Like genuinely. This printer can print on air. So the thing is, what it does is that it creates it sticks to the bed and then it just prints a straight line and that's called what did you call it? Yeah, the filament basically floats in the air and connects to the other side. So that's called bridging. One thing you can do is supports. The thing is, when bridging gets a little bit too out of hand and it's a little bit too much, so it gets really difficult for the printer to manage all that bridging because bridging is really difficult for a printer to do. I'm pretty sure if you buy a printer which is not Bambu Labs, you are not going to be able to do bridging. Half of the things that you're going to be able to print with a Bambu Lab printer, you cannot print with any other printer, trust me. Now, when I take this, now because the printer is busy a bit, I can't print two things at the same time. Though these are the supports. If I took the threshold under to let's say 16, see okay. Yeah, if I slice this plate, you will see that these are bridges. It's calculating the bridges there. Those are bridges, not bridges, sorry. Those are support. That's all support material right there. So whenever you're printing something which the printer knows that it can't print on air, so it creates these tiny bridges like at the bottom. These are completely removable and these are like really thin. The walls on these things are really thin. So you can see you can just like straight away like you can pluck it out with your hands and it doesn't stick to your print much, just to make sure that whenever you're printing something and it like It has overhangs. Overhangs are basically when you're printing something and half of your print is basically in thin air. When you print that half thing in the air, you're not going to be able to print because the printer cannot literally print on air. It needs some kind of support joining it to the ground to make sure it just is there. So it creates these support material. It creates these supports. There are different types of supports, but the three default one that Bambu Lab has is like much better. Let's look at the printer. So printer. You can see how the printer prints every single year. Now this right now, the printer can print much faster, like insanely faster. At like I would say 20 times the speed of what it's printing at right now. But because I set the quality to be like so extremely high, just to make sure that the quality of the print is really good. So that's good. Just because to make sure that the quality of the print is really good, I make sure that the printer is printing really slowly, just to make sure it prints out everything in just one seamless. And also the inside of every print, you will see just to save filament, because filament is technically expensive, just to save filament, uh, the inside of any print is hollow. But when you print something hollow, it becomes very like not tough. You can like touch it and it'll break. So it prints these things inside of it. That's called a gyroid. It can be a rectangle, it can be a gyroid, it can be any shape that you want, but a gyroid is fundamentally gonna be geometrically more stronger as a support inside of it. You guys can see this. You guys see this? The gyroid inside. Just give me a thumbs up if you guys are. Can you guys see the gyroid inside? Beautiful. Yeah, so that's a gyroid on the inside. And that gyroid is just to make sure that whenever you have a print, you just don't get the feel that it's hollow. It's gonna be technically hollow, but just to make sure it doesn't feel like it's hollow, it's gonna be like completely filled out. See, it's pretty bridges. Those are bridges. It's pretty much air. You see that? Also, I told you guys one thing. The printer that I just showed you, the 3 lakh one, which one is like really expensive, it only has it has the y-axis inbuilt inside of this. So the y-axis actually instead of the entire build plate moving, it's actually really hot. Instead of the entire build plate moving like it's moving right now, you see that? The build plate is moving. Instead of the build plate moving, the nozzle actually moves. So on those expensive printers, the nozzle will move, and the nozzle can move like the nozzle can move anywhere on the printer. Well, the thing is that I would personally recommend you to buy this one because it's just much cheaper, and it's also I haven't noticed any reasonable difference in the way that they print. It's the exact same. It's just that's a little bit higher quality, but it's also very high quality. If you're just randomly printing, you are not going to need any higher quality printers. Be the best one. Also, I think that's about it for now. मैंने बहुत कुछ समझा दिया तुम लोगों को like absolutely anything. Just one more thing I want to show you guys, like the absolute last thing. Trust me, it's the last thing. Is about the sketches that I was talking about. Whenever you're printing something, you gotta make sketches first. Whenever you're designing something, you gotta make sketches first, just to make sure whatever you're printing is, just to make sure whatever you're printing, you know what you're printing. So let's say sketches like these. Let's say if you want to print a map. How are you gonna print a lamp? Whenever you print a lamp, or absolutely anything, you design something, you make sure what the entire thing looks like. So let's say this lamp. It's a very generic lamp. I maybe just to explain to you that then the base is going to be printed in how many components? There's the base, there's the rod, there's the shape, and then inside of it, there's the top cover. So just to make sure that you know the exact dimensions of everything, you calculate everything, the base, the height of the base, the each thing which is going to be equal, the angles which are going to be equal. The different angles that even when in your design, when you're designing something in 360 or on shape, you know what these angles are going to look like. So when you look at it from the top, it should look like this. When you look at it from the side, it should look like this. When you look at it, render it should look like this.
You should make tiny notes on the side just to make sure you know what's happening. You know everything. There's nothing gonna go wrong. The rod for each component you're gonna have to design this like completely differently and then assemble them later. So the dimensions of each thing is to be really accurate. So the dimensions, the top angle for this rod is going to be looking like this. It's going to look like this when it's assembled. It's going to look like this from this front angle. You have to print everything. You have to make sure that you know everything about it. Even from your shape, you have to make every single component, even the screen diagnosis. So just make sure you know what you're doing. Now, this one is going to take like around 12 more minutes. And I think that's about it. This print's going to take around 12 more minutes. I should have sent this print a while ago. So instead of just waiting for this printer to print everything, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think I've already showed you what the printer can possibly do. I showed you all the overhands that the printer can do. I showed you all the bridging that the printer can do. I showed you that the printer can really print on thin air. I showed you that the printer can do bridging the inside of what it looks like. So you just saw it's basically done fitting that side. So when you saw inside of it, the inside was hollow, but there was a gyro pattern inside of which I will be explaining what that's for. You know the things that I've also printed are like these tiny cat, really building really fun things. These are also hollow from inside, but these are technically still have that gyro inside, so they feel completely solid. So I think that's about it for this workshop. It's become way longer than I actually thought it would. I could keep on yapping about 3D modeling, 3D printing forever. You give me 3 more hours, I'll speak for 3 more hours. But I think that's about it. What time restricts me. So I think that's about it for today's meeting. What is this? Does anything happen to the quality in different versions? What do you mean by versions? Different versions of what? And I thought, could you explain me what you mean by the different versions? Are you talking about the different versions, like the different printers that there are, like the quality between, oh, 3D printers? Yeah, of course. So basically, the really expensive 3D printers, what they can do, they have multiple functions. So let me pull up that expensive 3D printer that I showed you. Yeah. So this 3D printer, this specifically one, the 3 lakh one, has two functions. It can 3D print many filaments. It can 3D print anything. And also this thing has two nozzles. The one that I showed you right now, the one that I have, it has one nozzle. So this has two nozzles, so it's gonna use less filaments. Whenever you use filaments now, whenever you're using a 3D printer and you're printing in multicolors, so let's say you're printing in two colors, it's gonna like have a lot of waste. I already showed you that the printer has so much waste, and when it has two colors, your entire waste bucket is going to be completely full. And that's money, dude. That's cost a lot of money. So two filaments is basically going to help you make sure to reduce that waste. The quality is going to be much better. And the ones that are in the case, do you see that entire box? This entire printer is inside of that one box, and that one box can regulate its temperature. And also the nozzle on this thing can go up to like 400 degrees, I think. So it can print literally anything. The one that I have, that it can still print everything, but like to some extent, not absolutely everything. But that printer can genuinely print anything. It even has a laser cutting function inside of it. The 3D printer that I would say, this 3D printer that I have, the Bambu Lab one, don't buy any other company. If you're, what you mean by versions is different companies. Like this one is 30,000. If you've seen those 3D printers which cost like 15,000 on the internet, let me search. Yeah, look at this. Hold up. 3D printers are Western in general really expensive, but if you're looking to buy something like this, dude, it's literally a toy. Don't buy something like this because these printers, their quality is gonna be horrible. It's gonna be so bad. A lot of them, their software is gonna be outdated to like 2000 and like what 20 or 2005. It's gonna be horrible. Your experience is gonna be bad. The only thing you're gonna be able to print with things like, let's say, those not too serious printers is gonna be basically really shit things. Like, look at this printer. It's 14,000. It technically is a printer. Yeah, this is the Ender printer. I actually was thinking of buying this one, but I just saw how horrible it was. This printer is technically, it has a screen, it has everything, though
Its software is horrible. The temperature it can print is really bad. It can't print multiple. It can't print different filaments. It doesn't even have an extrusion link. It doesn't have a bunch of things. And when you start to get into 3D printing and you notice what these printers can't do and what the Bambu Lab printer can do, you will definitely buy the Bambu Lab one. These things have a lot of restrictions in them. They can't do a bunch of things. Yeah, go ahead, Rashid.
You said we could print
One second.
fabric or
One
out of
second. One
the
second.
3D printers.
Yeah. Let me get my phone. Okay, go ahead. What were you saying?
You said we could print fabrics out of the 3D printer. Then what kind of filament will be used for that?
Okay, really good question. So the fabric that I'm talking about isn't the fabric that you use. So what is fabric? Fabric is when you look inside of fabric, the fabric is basically what do you call that? You have a thread and you take those. Yeah, they're weaved. So the thing is that they're made out of threads. What do printers do? This printer can also do threads, but the thing is the threads that it can do, what kind of filaments will be used? The filament that exactly will be used depends on the type of fabric that you're making. So the fabric mostly is gonna be TPU if you want it to be really flexible, and it can also be PLA. And if you want some, like, let's say you're making a fabric which you want to be, like, let's say insanely tough, like so tough that like it can be bulletproof even, you would print with that like nylon fabric, 3D print, like that nylon carbon fiber one. Let me show you something. You guys can still see my screen now. Where did that go? Okay. Let me show you. Okay, so when I say fabric, the fabric I'm talking about is really different than the fabric that you are talking about. The fabric, yeah, this is the fabric I'm talking about. This fabric is technically can be considered as a fabric, but the thing is, this fabric is very different than the fabric that you're used to. This fabric is not going to be very soft. You can't technically wear this fabric. It's going to be really uncomfortable. But the thing is, this fabric can be used for so many different applications as well. So when you actually print this fabric, this is what the fabric is going to look like on the printer. And because this fabric is made out of so many of
Excuse me,
these
you're not
tiny things.
audible.
Oh, am I not? Oh, could you not
Oh,
hear
could you
me?
not hear me?
Yes, I could not.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
absolutely.
okay,
So I was
absolutely.
just
So I
telling you
was just
about
telling
how
you
this
about how this
the fabric
the
that you're
fabric that
talking
you're
about and
talking
the
about and the
fabric that
fabric
I'm
that
talking
I'm
about are
talking about are
actually really
actually really
different.
different.
So if you
So if
mean
you mean
fabric,
fabric,
considering
considering
this,
this,
this
this
fabric has
fabric
many
has many
different
different
applications. Now, of
applications. Now,
course, you
of
can
course, you can
technically wear
technically
this
wear
fabric.
this
You can make
fabric. You can
clothes
make
out of
clothes
these
out of these
fabrics.
fabrics.
They're not going to be
They're not
that
going to be that
comfortable though.
comfortable though.
So this
So this
fabric on
fabric
the
on the
printer, it
printer,
would look
it would
like
look
this
like
when you
this when
print
you
it.
print it.
The
The
reason this is
reason
a
this is a
fabric
fabric
is not
is
because
not
this
because
is
this is
flexible.
flexible.
You can
You can
print this
print this
fabric with
fabric with
absolutely any
absolutely any
filament,
filament,
but the
but the
reason this
reason this
fabric is
fabric is
actually has the
actually has the
properties of
properties of
fabric
fabric
is
is
because of
because
the
of the
way
way
that it
that
is
it is
made.
made.
The
The
structure of the
structure of the
fabric. Look
fabric.
at
Look at
this.
this.
The
The
fabric is
fabric is
basically
basically
made in
made
a
in a
way
way
that
that
you
you
have
have
different
different
solid
solid
parts.
parts.
It's not
It's not
flexible.
flexible.
It's
It's
just that
just
the
that the
fabric
fabric
it's made
it's
out
made
of
out of
many
many
solid
solid
parts
parts
and there
and
are
there are
overhangs in
overhangs in
between.
between.
So when
So
you
when you
take that
take that
fabric and
fabric
you
and you
pick it
pick it
up,
up,
all those
all those
bridges they
bridges they
break,
break,
and when
and
they
when they
do,
do,
they
they
release.
release.
So you
So
see
you see
this.
this.
You can
You
see
can
the
see the
structure.
structure.
So it's
So it's
that type
that
of
type of
fabric. You
fabric. You
technically
technically
can make
can make
fabric out
fabric
of
out of
it. You
it.
can
You can
technically
technically
make
make
clothes out
clothes
of
out of
this.
this.
Sure,
Sure,
they would
they would
work,
work,
not be
not be
that
that
comfortable. You
comfortable.
can
You
make
can
like
make like
chainmail out
chainmail
of
out of
this.
this.
But
But
depending
depending
on
on
what
what
you're
you're
using this
using this
fabric to
fabric to
be,
be,
you
you
can
can
make this
make this
fabric with
fabric with
anything. Like
anything. Like
let's say
let's say
if
if
you're
you're
using
using
this
this
fabric
fabric
for
for
armor,
armor,
for
for
like straight
like
up
straight up
armor or
armor or
some
some
shit.
shit.
If you're making
If
it
you're
for
making
like
it for like
literally
literally
bulletproof
bulletproof
clothing,
clothing,
you can
you
use
can
like
use
the
like the
insane
insane
nylon
nylon
carbon
carbon
fiber
fiber
filament that
filament
I
that
was
I was
talking
talking
about.
about.
But if
But
you want to
if you
just
want to
like
just like
randomly print
randomly print
filament, then
filament,
sure, you
then
can
sure, you
go
can
ahead
go
and
ahead
print
and
this
print this
filament with
filament with
absolutely
absolutely
anything you
anything
want.
you want.
Though I would
Though I would
recommend
recommend
TPU and
TPU and
PLA.
PLA.
Okay, any
Okay,
other
any other
doubts?
doubts?
Anybody got
Anybody
any
got
other
any other doubts?
doubts? Simajot,
Simajot,
Ashutosh,
Ashutosh,
any other
any other
doubts?
doubts?
Okay, sure.
Okay, sure.
Absolutely
Absolutely
amazing.
amazing.
Okay,
Okay,
I guess
I
there are
guess there are
not
not
any other
any other
doubts. I
doubts.
think
I think
I
I
did
did
absolutely
absolutely
everything.
everything.
I
I
gave the
gave the
live
live
demonstration.
demonstration.
That's
That's
also
also
done.
done.
Oh,
Oh,
damn, hold
damn,
up.
hold up.
The
The
print is
print is
actually
actually
done. We
done.
were
We were
talking for
talking
so
for so
long. I
long. I
didn't
didn't
even
even realize. Look at this. Did you hear that? Yeah, that was the printer saying that it's done. The Bambu Labs printer also have this one thing, which is an additional feature. There's a Bambu Labs handy app. So you can actually install that app on your phone and you can do everything that you can do with your phone as well. The thing you do on a laptop. How the fuck? There is the camera. Look at this. Yeah. The print's actually done. The printer rests like this. The amount of time, the amount of filament that it took literally less than 1 gram of filament. That's why it says 0 grams. This is the amount of filament I took. Now this is the nothing fluid print for Jagrat. Yeah. See, this is what this is used for. This is how you take off the thing. This is still hot, like 65 degrees precisely. You can take this. You can see the high quality in this thing. It's insane. You can't even tell. It's insane. And it's so detailed that this is actually a screw. You could put this inside of a nothing fruit. So Jagrat actually owns a nothing fruit and uska screw gum gaya tha. Yeah, he broke his screw and then he lost it. So this is like a replacement you can buy. Normally if you buy this on like the Nothing's website, they sell this. They sell it for like what, 1,000 rupees. I printed in less than 0.5 rupees. That is like you can actually understand how you can make up a business with this. The cost of me making this versus the cost that they sell it at is over 1,000%. That's insane. I'll leave it at that. If nobody else has any other doubts, I think I'll be done for this workshop.
Is it all clear?
Is it all clear?
Okay,
Okay,
absolutely. Well, I'll
absolutely.
see you
Well,
guys
I'll
in the
see you
next
guys in the
one.
next
I'll
one.
also
I'll
let you
also
guys
let
know
you
about
guys know about
FarAway,
far
about
away,
everything
about
about
everything
it.
about it.
Okay, see
Okay.
ya.
See ya.